dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Guys, if you want the greatest night of your life, I mean your best night ever, then you gotta hear this. There's a great ED pill out, and it's from the makers of Viagra. It's their ED pill called Viagra AGV, and it's unbelievable. It works super fast in as little as 12 minutes and lasts up to 12 hours. Plus, it's FDA approved and safe. You need to try it for yourself. It's unreal what it does to you. Viagra AGV crushes every other ED pill, and it's endorsed by the head of urology at the prestigious Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills, Dr. Dudley Danoff. Every man alive needs to try this amazing, remarkable Viagra AGV pill at least once. It's beyond belief. Then you'll know why men are going crazy over it. So if you want to have the most incredible night of your life, you can't miss this. Go to scoreblue.com and try it while supplies last. Go to scoreblue.com, scoreblue.com. That's scoreblue.com. Viagra AGV is available only at scoreblue.com by prescription, no doctor visit.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. Ethos.com/game. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
His name? Grant Napear.
Sacramento's most iconic announcer is back.
3 o'clock, Monday through Friday, 3-hour show.
The Grant Napear Show is back.
The Grant Napear Show, weekdays 3 to 6, right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Grant's back. Join the conversation every weekday afternoon beginning at 3 p.m. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento. Hello, Sacramento.
Sacktown.
And welcome in.
Grant Napear.
How you been?
You know this guy.
It's your show.
So happy to hear you on the airwaves.
2+ decades on the radio with you.
Just the start of an incredible journey.
Now he's back on Fox Sports 104.7 FM and 890 AM.
3 to 6 every day, Fox Sports Sacramento.
The phone number?
916-779-0929.
His name? Grant Napear.
And a good afternoon, everybody. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. The first place A's at home open up the series against the Royals. Your phone calls and messages, always welcome, at 916-779-0929. Maybe a anti-tanking reform measure. We'll talk about that in a moment. Paul Feinbaum, ESPN, today, talking exactly what I was bringing up on a recent show as it pertains to sports gambling among those in their 20s. Very interesting what he had to say. I'll talk about that. Sean Salisbury, right after Grant's Rant at 5 o'clock. So we've got a lot on the plate here. NBA playoffs, the Orlando Magic are one win away from beating the number one seed Detroit Pistons. And they're doing it with defense. They were able to win the big game yesterday, holding on in the fourth quarter, despite missing a couple of key free throws. But they got all the rebounds when they had to. They were able to clamp down enough on the Detroit Pistons. And so, again, they are one win away from advancing to the second round of the playoffs. Tonight, you've got huge game in New York with the Atlanta Hawks and the Knicks tied at 2. The other games, Philadelphia, Boston, and Portland and San Antonio. You know, when you think about the first round of the NBA playoffs, you normally don't get the series that we're having. And there have already been a lot of injuries in the opening round of the NBA playoffs. So you have to wonder if that is going to continue and how will that affect things as we move on into the month of May and ultimately the NBA finals in June. So NBA story, we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about the games specifically. I was watching a lot of the NHL last night. The Vegas-Utah game was an absolute dandy with Vegas up 3-0. The Mammoth come back to take a 4-3 lead. Vegas ties it, then they win it in overtime. They thought they had won it earlier in overtime, but the goal was disallowed after a lengthy review because of offsides. And then with under a minute left to go in the first overtime, they win it to even up that series at 2 games apiece. Edmonton, they're getting ready for a Game 5 against Anaheim. And Connor McDavid, we don't know yet. He is iffy. That is bad news for the Oilers. So we've got NHL to talk about. Again, that game is tonight, Anaheim at Edmonton, Minnesota, Dallas, and Boston and Buffalo. This story, as it centers around the investigation of Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback out of Texas Tech, who is going into basically treatment for a gambling addiction. And I said upon hearing this story that this is just the tip of the iceberg and that we're talking about an epidemic among our young men in this country. And it was interesting because Paul Feinbaum of ESPN came out today and he talked about this as well. And his exact words were, this is just the tip of an iceberg. And that's what I said. What is interesting to me about what Feinbaum said, and I want to read his exact quote, because he used the same word that I used when first discussing this. Okay? This could be an epidemic scale of a scandal. And that's exactly right. And then Feinbaum cited sports handicap expert Danny Sheridan's research. You ready for this? Sheridan's research, which again, I've talked about numerous times on podcasts and on previous shows as it pertains to sports gambling, particularly among those in the 20s in this country, based on a lot of research, a lot of data, and a lot of experts. All right? Feinbaum, again, citing sports handicapper Danny Sheridan. You ready for this? The research revealed 75% of male college students and 25% of college athletes bet on sports. 75% of male college students. Now, I believe that it's both college and those that are not in college. Now, I don't have any facts to back that up other than the people that I have personally spoken to in an interview, situation, reading on my own. And the reason why I have taken such interest in that is being in the field that I'm in, having two boys who are now in their late 20s, and observing what it was like when they were in high school, and observing what I saw on a high school campus with young adolescents and then teenagers getting ready to hit 20, but particularly high school years, the amount of money that was exchanged through apps such as Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, but not as much Zelle because not all of these kids had bank accounts. But the point I'm trying to make is Venmo and Cash App stood out to me. And I was like, maybe I was naive to the situation, but the amount of gambling that goes on between those even in high school was astounding to me. I observed it. I saw it. I lived it. Even if it was $2 or $5, but it was money that they did not have that they then had to try to acquire to move on without any further ramifications, and there were a lot of IOUs. And then when I started really looking into this more and saw that the effect that legalized sports gambling, and of course the smartphone, and the fact that it is very easy to bet on anything you want now in a lot of states in this country, that we were going to be dealing with an epidemic. Now, as it pertains to sports, and that's what I do, I have a sports show. What is the solution? Like, how can you reverse this trend? And I believe that the only way to really do it, because you've already let the horses out of the barn, they're not going back into the barn as it relates to sports gambling. And listen, sports gambling's been around forever. But the legalized sports gambling and the smartphone has made it into a situation where that, along with the brainwashing, which is really what it is, that goes on in the form of advertising on almost any sporting event that you watch. Not only are you watching the ads for sports betting, you have the announcers that are announcing the game embellish the ads with copy. So it's coming at you in all directions. And when you are an impressionable young adult with the frontal lobe of your brain not fully developed, and you hear you get a free $100, you get a free $50, you get free this and you get free that, that can become addictive. And it can become a lure, a hook, that ends up hooking a lot of young men. And I'm keeping it to men because it's primarily the issue here based on all of the data and the studies. So when Paul Feinbaum of ESPN came out and talked about that today, I was like, what took you so long? This has been something that I've been talking about for a long time. And my question is, well, what is the solution to this? Are we going to have curriculum in our middle schools and in our high schools that deals with the effects of gambling very much in the same capacity that we talk about alcoholism and drug addiction? I'm very serious now. Is that where we're going to have to go? Because I believe that what Paul Feinbaum, when he used the word epidemic, and I've used that word on multiple occasions, I believe that this is already an epidemic that has not been talked about enough And I believe that the effect on this particular generation, we are only experiencing the infancy and the baby steps of the change, societal changes in these young adults. And the studies are so alarming that you'd have to have your head stuck deep into the sand not to be aware of the effects, both current effects, future effects, and the long-term ramifications of what we're experiencing. So when I see, in this case, a college athlete who is one of the top quarterbacks in the country who is addicted to gambling, I'm like, I shrug my shoulders. And I'm like, that is really sad and unfortunate. But how many others right now, and we will keep it to college since we're talking about Salisbury, how many right now are in college that have a gambling addiction? And how many of our athletes that we watch on the football field and the basketball field, and we'll keep it just to that for now because those are primarily the two sports that are on television. And those are the two sports with the highest payouts with nil money. How many of our athletes that we watched in the NCAA tournament, that we watch in the NCAA football playoffs, that we watch every Saturday in the SEC and the Big Ten and so on and so forth? How many of those athletes that we're watching are addicted to gambling for a variety of reasons? First and foremost, they have money to gamble with. They are hooked. And how many of those athletes that we're watching are gambling on their own games, their own sport, so on and so forth? Tip of the iceberg. And do I enjoy talking about this? You know, in a way I do and in a way I don't. Okay? I don't like talking about it because when I see a story like Salisbury, number one, it's sad. But number two, I think it's a trend, and I think it's a dangerous trend, and I think it's an alarming trend. And I don't think you can just say, oh, it's going to be okay. No, it's not just going to be okay. And so I have mixed feelings about this because I've been very open about this. I have read, okay, have done endorsements for betting companies, and I probably will in the future. So I don't want to sound hypocritical. I don't want to sound disingenuous because I have done that in the past and will continue to do in the future. And the reason for that is I'm not the gambling police. I'm not the drinking police. I'm not the police of how you should or should not live your life. I live my life the way I want. You live your life the way you want. Do I wish that certain things were different? Of course, so do you. But I'm not the police. I'm not the social police. I'm not telling you what time to be at home at night. I'm not telling you, what to do and what not to do. That's for you to decide once you become an adult. But if we just sweep this under the rug and think that everything is fine and dandy, it's not just fine and dandy. All right? And the reason why I'm talking about this in the first segment with so much going on is these stories of Salisbury and these stories of the NBA scandal that came out at the beginning of the basketball season, which cost Chauncey Billups his job, and he might be incarcerated in the future. I don't know what the outcome of this is all going to be. But these stories that we hear about and have heard about in the past infrequently are becoming more and more of the mainstream part of our sports news, and in my opinion, will continue to become part of the mainstream sports news in this country. And I believe that 5 years from now, that we are going to be talking about this as a big epidemic in this country, even sooner than 5 years. So when I called it the tip of the iceberg the other day, and Paul Feinbaum, who's got a lot more research at his fingertips than I do because of his contacts, calls it the tip of the iceberg and uses the word epidemic, you better pay attention to this, okay? Because it may all change the way we watch sports, if you want to keep it to that. It may change a lot of things. It may change your core values as it pertains to watching sports. It may completely turn sports upside down if betting scandals are, how would I want to say this, found to have improper game results, meaning that games have been fixed, games are being fixed. This is a big, big, big problem in America, but you only know about it because you think that it's only happening a little bit here and a little bit there. No. Open up your eyes. And if you are a parent, and I'm going to keep it to males, if you are a parent and you have a son in junior high and in high school, and you don't think that they are betting, you're naive. Okay? And if you don't think that this becomes a potential major problem for young men when it becomes legal to do legalized sports gambling, I'm going to keep it to legal for right now. If you are not worried about it, you should be worried about it, and you should be overseeing it, and you better be open-minded to what is going on. That's my message for the day. 916-779-0929. If you have any thoughts on this, I would love to hear. I really would. And if you're a parent of somebody in this age group, I would love to hear. I really would. I would love to know how you feel about this. We'll take a break. We'll continue on. We got a lot to talk about both on the court, on the ice, and on the field. I'm going to talk about maybe the newest anti-tanking measure in the NBA that's being discussed that may come into effect soon. That's next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, sports talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn six-figure incomes. And importantly, sports talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Spring is here, so check your tires. When your vehicle needs the best, get Firestone Firehawks. They are built on years of racing heritage and are designed with the latest in tire technology. This month, save $100 on a set of 4 Firestone Firehawks. They provide the confidence and comfort you've come to expect from Firestone. Race into Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue, and find the set that's right for you. Whatever you drive a Firestone. Get them at Express Tires, 7215 Watt Avenue.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
Sean Salisbury coming up at 5 o'clock right after Grant's rant. So the NBA, does the NBA do anything that makes sense? I really mean this. I mean, gimmicks left and right. You got the NBA Cup. You got the play-in. You got all of this nonsense. And now, Shams Charania of ESPN came out with this earlier, that the NBA has disclosed to its 30 general managers a new anti-tanking draft reform. They're going to call it the 3-2-1 lottery that expands the lottery to 16 teams. My question is why? Flattened odds, and you ready for this? A relegation zone. So that if you're a bottom 3 team, you'll be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick. This would go into effect at the start of next year's draft in 2027. I ask, why are things so complicated? How complicated? All right, I'm going to read this to you, and then you tell me what I said. Teams that do not qualify for the playoffs or play in tournament but stay out of the relegation zone, that's spots 4 through 10, would receive 3 lottery balls each. Teams with a bottom record, the relegation area, would have only 2 lottery balls but have a floor of the 12th pick, while the rest of the 13 lottery teams could fall as far as the 16th pick. That's right. The 9th and 10th play-in seeds in each conference would get 2 lottery balls, while the losers of the 7th and 8th play-in games would receive 1 lottery ball. Now, here's the key. No team would be able to win the top pick in consecutive years, or, this is important, be able to win 3 consecutive top 5 picks. And you would also not be able to protect picks in the 12 to 15 slots going forward. So, Rhino, San Diego State, who thinks that, never mind, I'm not even going to get into yesterday. I was going to bust your chops again, but we're moving on.
It's a new day.
It's a new day. Do you understand what I just said?
Kind of. I get the framework of what they're doing, but it is very complicated. And what's the difference between 3-2, when it comes to the lottery balls? What if you're just a bad team? You're going to have teams that are just bad teams, and they're going to be penalized for being in the relegation zone.
It's a joke. This whole thing is a joke. And it's again, the NBA to me is a league that is trending towards talking about the wrong things too often. All right. It's a league that's making a ton of money, where those that cover the league, both on NBA radio, on our major networks, and in many cities across the country, aren't talking about the games enough. They're talking about things off the floor more than the games on the floor, it seems like, on too many nights. And I just wonder where this is all heading. And I also wonder if we're not going to get to a point in the very near future where this sport needs a new face and a new voice named somebody other than Adam Silver.
Yeah, I've said it jokingly, but it feels like he's running out of David Stern's ideas.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you read this. This is pretty important because it's going to affect trades. In addition, no team would be able to win the top 5 or the top pick in consecutive years or be able to win 3 consecutive top picks. The back end is what I'm talking about. Teams also would not be able to protect picks in the 12 to 15 slots going forward.
Yep. I just read that. That's exactly what I just said. Yep.
Very good.
Yep.
So, you know, that affects how deals are going to get done. It's set to sunset possibly in 2029. So it's not set in stone for 7 years or 8 years like a CBA. But Grant, every other sport, I mean, football, the giant here in America, it's pretty simple for them, right?
Very simple for them. Not a problem for them.
Right.
Not a problem at all. Not a problem.
Worst record?
Not a problem in hockey.
Yeah.
Not a problem in hockey. You ever hear the word tanking in hockey?
No.
No. Thank you. No. You know, it's the NBA that we hear these problems at.
Grant, and I go back to this, with analytics being so big now in basketball.
Yep.
I don't understand how the NBA cannot find a way to incorporate additional analytics, whether it's something similar to the BCS that you run against a team's record when it comes to players sitting out, however you want to do it. There's got to be a better way that's more straight up to give you really a fair team that should be getting the first pick and the second pick and the third pick. Do you disagree?
No, I don't disagree. I just think that this is not that difficult and not that complicated, and the NBA is trying to reinvent the wheel again with this stuff.
Well, here's the key to this. This might be a non-issue when it comes to the new generation that's kind of taking the torch right now, because the current generation is where all this really started. You talk about Pop doing it, but LeBron's been at the head of it, obviously. Steve Kerr, the Warriors, you've got Wemby coming in that wants to play as much as possible. And the All-Star game to me was kind of a turning point where Wemby's like, you know what, we're not going to do this anymore. We're going to respect the game. We're going to give back to the game what the game gave to us. So maybe the players have a bigger role in this than we actually think.
All I know is it's too darn complicated, and I just think that it's unfortunate that a league that is as popular as the NBA is so, in my opinion, poorly run, with a rudderless leader with no backbone, and is a commissioner of a sport that, yes, is making a ton of money for the owners, but in my opinion is out of touch with reality and the comments that he makes about the sport. I just think the NBA has more problems, more issues. I think it has more negative things right now than positive things going on. That's how I would just simplify it. I think they have more negative aspects to their sport than positive aspects. And that's what I hear from coast to coast when people talk about the NBA and the perception. Okay? Yes, the ratings have been good, and yes, the money is being made. But the perception by many in the NBA, it's not where it needs to be, in my opinion. It's not healthy. It's not healthy.
I think you're all over it. You're peppering it. It's just there's levels to this, right? There's us that cover it on a daily basis that it's like, oh my gosh, can we get through the 82 to get to the postseason? And then there's the next layer that, you know, watches maybe half the games per season. And then when the postseason comes along, turns on the postseason, and everything's great. They're not paying attention to the day-to-day NBA news. They just see what we're seeing right now in April, May, and June. And then there's the casuals that just turn on the playoffs. And if you just watch the playoffs, the NBA has never been better, right, Grant?
Yeah, and if you are looking at this from a Sacramento Kings perspective and the other bad teams in the league, this now is going to make it more challenging to build your team through the draft, meaning that you really need to hit your home runs, okay, now. And I'm not saying you can't get a home run later. They did that with Max Reynaud. But the point is, you're not going to be able to do what the San Antonio Spurs have just done when you look at their last couple of drafts.
It's a great point. You know, you're getting closer and closer to reversing what's known as purgatory, right? Purgatory used to be 7 through 10, or excuse me, 8 through 10.
Yeah.
Now it is 30 through 27 or whatever that bottom group is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see. If the GMs are on board, then so be.
916-779-0929. If you have any comments, give me a call. Baseball, the Giants are in Philly, and Don Mattingly is going to be the interim skipper for the rest of the year. Alex Cora was offered the job and turned it down. Wow, how about that? A's, Royals, the first place Athletics in Sacramento. So we'll keep you up to date on the games that are going on, and particularly the Giants and the Phils. But, boy, the A's, we keep on talking about them. Good opportunity to go out and watch a team that's playing very well and a team that is in first place after the very, very slow start. So good opportunity during this homestand to go out and watch the A's with the forecast absolutely beautiful for this week. All right, let's get to some phone calls right here on the Grant Napear Show. And why don't we say hello to Mike in Galt. Hello, Mike.
Grant, what is up?
Hey, Mike.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about my favorite thing as a Kings fan. That basically is the lottery. I wish that the NBA could be like the NFL. If you're terrible, you get the first pick and so on. Now, I listen to your show on the radio all the time. These guys aren't trying to lose. They're not trying to tank. They don't care who the Kings are going to draft. That might be true. But I want to ask you something. As long as the Kings have been in the lottery, it's all odds, it's all numbers. The Kings seem to have the worst luck, and the Spurs seem to have the best luck.
Yep. Okay, so what's your point?
I mean, my point is the Kings, as long as they've been in the lottery, you think they would get more than a number 2 pick. I know they've got a number 1 pick. I think it was Klein years ago.
Purvis Ellison.
But it seems like there's always a Purvis Ellison. Okay. So I don't know how long the Kings have been in the lottery, maybe 20 plus years. I'm just throwing a number out there. It seems like they have the worst luck in the lottery. And I've been listening to the show. I don't understand all the math problems, the equations. It's pretty simple. And that's what us fans like. Maybe other fans like it, you know, with the lottery. I think the old system was for the lottery, the top 7 worst teams had a shot at the lottery, and the other 7 were on the bottom half.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool. How would you pick it? What would be the Grant Napear way? Would it be like the
Very
NFL?
simple. Have it the NFL way. If you're the worst team, you get the number 1 pick, and so on and so forth. That's how I would do it.
Okay. Well, that's all I got. Maybe this year is the year for the Kings. I listen to you guys all the time on the radio.
Thank you.
Yes, on YouTube. But
thank you, Mike.
Hopefully, the Kings can get out of the lottery. I'm tired of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Thank you very much. Yep. 10 times the Kings have been in the playoffs since being in Sacramento, I believe. 1, 2, 10, 11 times. Yeah, not good. Not good. Don't forget Sean Salisbury after Grant's Rant. We take your phone calls. 916-779-0929. Text messages. No show this week, Thursday and Friday. So we're going national on Thursday and Friday. Keep that in mind. I will be on YouTube and X tonight, 7 o'clock, with my Open Forum Tuesday show. Big games in the NBA, mainly in Madison Square Garden, a pivotal Game 5 between the Knicks and the Hawks. All of that and more as we continue on right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrud Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrud's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrud's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrud's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrud's, locally owned for more than 30 years. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrud's. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrud's.com.
Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family owned, locally owned, HVAC experts serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
Looking for a great real estate agent? Someone who can help you sell your home fast and for top dollar? Go to ready.com, REDY.com. Because on Ready, agents will pay you just for the opportunity to sell your home. Yeah, on Ready, agents will pay you for your listing. Thousands of dollars up front just for a chance to sell your home. And it's easy. Just go to ready.com, enter your address, and when you want to sell. In just 48 hours, the best local agents are competing on Ready to be your agent with cash offers up front just to win your business. Hey, your listing is valuable. Don't give it away. Make those agents earn it. Get paid to pick your real estate agent. Go to ready.com or call 888-525-REDY. 888-525-READY.
I've got a question. Why do I keep going online and seeing mock drafts in the NBA? How stupid is that? How can you have a mock in an NBA when you don't even know what the draft order is yet? Don't you have to wait until May 10th before you can have a mock draft in the NBA? I mean, it's stupid. It really is. I don't want to hear about mock drafts in the NBA until after the draft lottery when we know the order of the team selecting.
Oh, you have
Now,
no idea how deep this goes. There's draft simulators that fans go on every day.
Yeah, well, I'm aware of those, but that's those are people that are bored and have nothing else to do with their life.
But it projects where the lottery balls are going to fall and where teams are going to pick. Yeah, it goes deep on the internet.
Okay, so the NBA simulator that you're talking about, or shouldn't call it NBA simulator, draft simulators, is basically playing roulette. That's what it is.
Back to gambling.
Well, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay, is the lottery gambling? NBA?
It's gambling if you bet on it, yes.
Yeah.
You can bet on the lottery.
I mean, think about that. The NBA is using a very similar system that states use for their lotteries.
Correct. Very, very, very correct. That's right.
Just a little weird.
So well, they have to choose a system, correct? I mean, they obviously have to come up with a system. They can't just flip coins. I mean, they have to come up with a system.
I agree.
So, I mean, I'm not saying I have the answer to what would be an ideal lottery system, but it's pretty much the same system as you see if you want to watch the real lottery when the numbers are determined every week, correct?
Correct. Yes.
All right.
Can I ask you a question? And
No.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What's wrong with you?
You can ask me a question.
Yeah, I shouldn't be saying that. Anyways, it's not realistic, but imagine if the NBA moved to a system similar to what European soccer and the Premier League does. So like the bottom 2 or 3 teams, you're relegated to the G League for
You can't
a season,
do that. That would be impossible.
and vice versa.
You can't do that. You can't do that in the NBA. It's impossible.
I mean, bring up the Stockton Kings.
Again, let's get serious here, would you please? You can't do that.
It's a legit question that
No,
I've seen
it's not
online.
a legit question. It's absurd, and it is. And I've heard people talk about this in the past. It's ridiculous. It's stupid.
Yeah. Well, with Adam Silver and NBA Europe.
So if let's just say, in a given year, the Knicks, the Lakers, and the Bulls were the 3 worst teams in the league. You're going to have them not playing the NBA anymore for a year. You're going to have the New York Knicks go to the G League. I don't even know who their G League team is.
Okay, well, okay. Let's play with this for a second. Okay.
In an empty Madison Square Garden 41 times a year.
No, what if it incentivized the G League teams to be closer to NBA teams?
It's not feasible.
Okay,
it's not possible.
I know it. Okay. I know you're saying it's not possible, but wouldn't it be a decent model if you had 2 really good leagues?
No. I mean, the model that you're referring to is the model that they're thinking of going, and that it is going to be implemented probably next year in Europe.
Right.
That's the model, not a G League team. I mean, you couldn't do it. It's not possible. Again, it's not possible.
Okay.
Okay. It's not possible. And on top of that, why do we watch, or excuse me, when you watch any promo for NBA basketball, what do you see? You see stars on the promos. You don't hear about the teams. You only see the LeBron James, the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, right?
Mm-hmm.
The players, Victor Wembanyama. You don't see ads. It's the Hawks and the Knicks. Blah blah blah. It's Jalen Brunson. It's Karl Anthony Towns, right? Blah, 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 blah. This is how the league has always run its marketing. The reason why, Ryan, that the Stockton Kings have been so successful and no one goes to their games, by and large, okay, and I'm generalizing here, is very simple. Is it a good quality of play? Yes. Is it entertaining? Yes. No question. But the reality is, we as fans in this country are programmed to go watch the quote, unquote, big names and stars. It's why you have talked about going to the games at Golden One Center at the end of the year, as opposed to not going
because you wanted to see Victor Wembanyama in person.
Yep.
You wanted to see Con Knipple in person. You wanted to see certain players in person. So you, even as a member of the media, at the end of the year when the games didn't mean anything and it was nauseating to go to a game, didn't go unless you wanted to go and see a player on another team. That's why it would never work.
All right.
So you can't have teams in the NBA relegated out of the league. Can't do it. Just can't do it.
Well, yes. Under the current model, you could not do that. I just wonder if they're going to, with NBA Europe and everything they're trying to build on that side, how that could play into the regular NBA in the future.
Here's the other part. You're always going to have, no matter what system you have, you're always going to have 3 bottom teams in the league. It's just, you have to. I mean, the math says you have to have a first place team and you have to have a last place team. What would happen if you had a system like the National Hockey League? Let's use that for example, okay? Where there is no tanking and teams are, playing in earnest and playing. Why should those teams be penalized?
They shouldn't. They're playing in earnest. At the fundamental level, this is you could say it's 2 levels. It's an ownership and a player problem. It's owners that are not putting competitive teams on the floor and players that don't want to play hard or don't want to play. They want to play every 5th night, whatever it may be. That's where the problem starts.
There's a lot. As you said, you like to use the word layers.
Correct.
There's layers of issues with this situation that we call tanking. It's not just one thing.
No.
Right? It's not just one thing. What we fail to acknowledge, and when I say we, I'm speaking in very broad terms, we fail to acknowledge that the aspect of tanking that does not exist are the players that are actually on the floor playing.
Correct.
They're not part of the problem.
Correct. DeMar DeRozan, who played almost nearly every game until the last month of the season.
Now, do I think DeMar DeRozan sits at home at night and loses sleep when they lose? No, I don't, okay? But that doesn't affect the way he goes out and plays the next night, okay?
Yeah.
And when he's on the floor, it doesn't change his performance. Now, if they lose, do I think he's in a bad mood? And do I think that, he probably not, okay? But he's not the problem. The players on the court are not the problem. The problem are the coaches, the problems are the owners, and the problems are the general managers. They're the problems, not the players.
You don't think some players? There's some players that do not play every night.
There are some players that milk injuries. I've seen it. I've talked to players about that in all sports, by the way, but mostly in the NBA. That does happen. I've seen it. There are paycheck guys. I've seen it. There are guys that look like they will run through a wall for you, and then when they get their guaranteed contract, Marcus Thornton, for one, changes their demeanor and everything about how they go out and play. Okay? There are players like that. I call them paycheck guys. There are paycheck guys. And that's something that is unavoidable, and it's the way you just have to accept that.
Okay.
So, yes, I do.
So does this go back to a certain level to guaranteed money for many of the players? Because you look at the NFL and the Raiders, I think your Giants have been in that position where they're set to have the first pick and then they win in the last week of the season, right? Well, you have a lot of guys playing that are playing for jobs next year, whereas in the NBA, a lot is different for many of the players. You're going to have a handful, but not nearly as many. So is that part of the layers that the NBA needs to look at?
No. They need to look at everything. Somebody say, Grant, I run the draft simulator every morning. I wake up and my day is ruined if it doesn't land on the Kings for the top 3. Is this an unhealthy hobby? Well, first of all, if you consider that a hobby, I feel sorry for you, 858. And what I would encourage you to do is to look in the mirror and ask yourself, what kind of life are you living if that's how you start your day? That's what I would ask. That's what I would ask. Is it unhealthy? I'm not qualified to say it's unhealthy, meaning that it would affect your life and your body, and you might become sick or anything. I'm not qualified to say that. Okay. What I am qualified to say is I use common sense. And if you're serious and not just joking, which I have a feeling you're just joking, but if you're not joking, my advice to you would be get a life. Okay.
I know.
Go get a life.
I know a lot of people that do it on a daily basis.
A daily basis. And for what reason?
Just because.
Because what? Because you want to play make believe?
I don't know. I don't do it on a daily basis. I just know.
Well, that's what it is. It's make believe. It's not real. It's just like you can do that with anything in life. You could say you could do that with the lottery. Before the lottery happens, you can go into an algorithm and just have fun and pick 6 numbers, and they're going to be different every day.
Yep, very true. Statistics.
Every minute.
Yep, spot.
I mean, if you want to really talk about odds, why is it that when we have the super jackpot where it's over $1 billion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing I've never understood. Oh my God, it's 1.2 billion. I've got to play. Really? You didn't want to play when it's 10 million? You don't want to win 10 million? Right? Like where is the, like, where's your thought process? Let's see. I'm only going to play because it's now at 800 and 900 million, or it's, wow, I got to play this.
Well, I think you're getting into where you started the show in gambling. That's a daily habit, right? If it's at 5 million, 10 million, whatever, I'm going to play it every single day. Guess what? That adds up until you win.
No, that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is a lot of people don't play the lottery until they hear the big number, like the mega jackpot. And then they're like, oh my God, I got to get in. I have a chance to win $1 billion. Well, you don't want to have a chance to win $10 million? Like what? Like, would you be disappointed if you won the lottery and you won $10 million?
No, I just don't think they pay attention to the lottery until it comes across their screen or their timeline.
Maybe.
I don't.
Maybe.
Do you?
No, but isn't it amazing that when you're in the numbers a lot more than I am, okay? Don't you find it so unbelievable that sometimes you have, again, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of people playing that super mega jackpot or whatever, and then no winning numbers come up, and you got to, it then adds on to a bigger sum the following drawing? Like, isn't that just incredible to you that of all of the people that are playing the lottery and the numbers, there are no winning numbers for that draw?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Do you know what the chances of that are?
It all depends on how many people buy a ticket.
That's my point. But you know, there are millions and millions and millions and millions of people buying tickets.
Oh, absolutely. You have people that are buying hundreds of tickets at a time. So the odds, the more people that buy tickets, the odds get worse. Or do the odds get worse? That's a great question, because the numbers are going to come up as they come up.
Yeah, I wouldn't think the odds, I don't think the odds change at all.
If more people buy a ticket?
Well,
no, they don't, because you could have the same numbers as somebody else. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's the math. Again, coming out of San Diego State, that's 2 days in a row for you.
That's not good. 2 days in a row. I corrected that right away. We're working through it, you know? We're spitballing. Come on now. I'm showing my work, Nate.
I love it. I love it. You're working through it. You're working through it. Good job by you, buddy.
Hey.
I like the fact that you're working through it.
I'm a hard worker. I don't quit.
Yeah, you're a hard worker. You got that passport yet? No, but he's a hard worker. Actually, you should see how much this guy works behind the scenes. He really is a hard worker. If you only knew what this man did. Oh my gosh. He is the definition of a hard worker. Trust me when I say that. As much as I bust his chops, the guy is unbelievable. He really is. Hour 2 straight ahead. Fox Sports, Sacramento.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Are you or do you know a veteran or a family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? If so, go now to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or someone you know to receive one with installation being donated by our neighbors at DAS Mechanical. We all know this past year has been tough for some in our community. Nick Delancey and his DAS family want to give back, and they're excited to give back, just like this, to help out a veteran or family in need. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab, and fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. That's dasmechanical.org. Click the 2026 HVAC System Donation tab and fill out the short form. DAS Mechanical, family-owned and proudly serving our community for years. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. That's dasmechanical.org.
Have you ever tried to buy gold and silver and felt like you were talking to a used car salesman? That's because the precious metals industry is like the Wild West. Salesmen can say pretty much anything or make any promise they want without repercussion. But Genesis Gold Group is different. They're a faith-driven Christian precious metals company and believe in educating their customers, not pressuring them for a quick sale. Genesis Gold Group focuses on customer service, not sleazy marketing. Genesis Gold Group is named after the first book of the Bible for a reason. Proper stewardship of wealth is their specialty. Find out why they've earned a 5 out of 5 rating through the Better Business Bureau and how they can help you secure your wealth or retirement through physical precious metals. Call right now to learn more.
800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. 800-497-8464. That's 800-497-8464.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind. Like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest.
Uh-oh.
Or that time you forgot to roll up your windows in the car wash.
Fantastic.
Yeah, a remote control would have come in handy then. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes like managing your weight, getting active, stopping smoking, and eating healthier, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. It's easy to learn your risk. Take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Life doesn't come with a remote control. Yikes! So you're on your own with the wasps. You have the power to take control of prediabetes. Visit doihaveprediabetes.org today. That's doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
The voice of Sacramento sports is back.
Hear Grant Napear every weekday beginning at 3 right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst, K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
I love this from the 858. Grant, I am not joking, and there is a bunch of us doing this every morning, but I will take your advice and stop. Hey, you know what? If it's something you enjoy doing, do it. You know, I was just busting your chops a little bit. If you enjoy it, it's not harming anybody. My question is, why would you do something? Like, what is the point of it? Like, does it set your day? Like, what difference does it make? It's not real. So you're getting gratification from something that has no bearing on the real deal. That's my question to you. Why are you doing it? You don't have to stop, right, Ryan? They're not. If you enjoy doing it, do it. That's what life is. We all have different fixes
Well,
that
yeah.
we enjoy.
You said something that's not real. I mean, you can read books that are fiction, right?
Yes, you can.
You can do a lot of stuff to start your day that's not real. If basketball's one of it with the lottery, then what the heck? Go for it.
Yeah, you do it, right?
I do not. No.
Oh, I thought you said you went on simulators.
No. I said I know people that go on
okay.
simulators on a daily
All right.
basis. I do
Okay.
want to kind of circle back to where you started with gambling, because I think everything you said is spot on. And yes, I do think it's going to be something that will be at least taught in certain classes as you probably high school age, as you get closer to graduating
Mm-hmm.
in the future. And I also think we're going to look back on this era, and I've been saying it for a couple of years, even back to on if you don't like that, it's kind of the new tobacco era when that
Yes.
first came out, and it's advertising everywhere. And I bring that up because I wonder if advertising is going to get rolled back to a certain degree, whether it's in arena only, you know what I mean, where it's not
Yes.
everywhere for young people.
Because right
to
now
see.
it is everywhere, constantly. You cannot watch a sporting event of any magnitude without being just like, wow. Like it's a wow. Even the announcers talking about it. I've chronicled what it was like in the NBA, being at meetings when David Stern was there, and we were not even allowed to, we could barely even ask a question as it pertained to gambling. And we had very strict guidelines about what we could and could not say as it pertained to anything associated with gambling as an announcer. And now you're part of the ad campaigns.
Right. And you're making studio guys, they're making their picks
Yes.
for a certain platform. I look back growing up in like baseball cards right now, that hobby,
Mm-hmm.
almost you can call it a business, people that are running on their own with cards. They've kind of had a revival. I
Yes.
look at that growing up more as an investment in learning how to, collect things, take care of things. But there were certain things that we did growing up that had gambling to them, whether it was marbles, whether
Sure.
it was pogs,
Absolutely.
stuff like that. So,
But here's the big difference. It is so easy now to receive and send money.
Mm.
When we gambled as kids, you would have a nickel in your pocket or a dime in your pocket or pennies in your pocket, and you would pitch it into the middle, right? And you would have flipping cards, for instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there might be 20 cents in the pile, and you would grab it. And there weren't IOUs for the most part. Now you're walking from one class to another in school, and you're on your phone, and a game is just starting, and you're saying to your buddy, I got so-and-so, you got $5? You want to bet $5? And at the end of the day, assuming that you can come up with $5, you Venmo your friend. I've watched it. I've seen it. It happens millions of times a day in our schools in America.
Well, it's good.
It's just so easy.
It's good that you're calling that out, because whether it's Venmo or the other platforms, you can, as a parent, make transactions public so you can see everything that's going on.
Yes.
But yeah, it is going to have to get rolled back somehow, don't you think?
Yes. And I think as it becomes more of an epidemic, which it is going to be an epidemic, trust me, it's going to be an epidemic. And the ramifications of this epidemic are worrisome, troublesome. And if you think that it's not having an impact on society, it is. I mean, studies such as men in their 20s now are not getting married. They're not in relationships. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. The rate of alcoholism, drug use, suicide, all of these things.
Yeah.
And studies circle back to sports gambling. It is a big concern for those that have done the research. And again, I've done a lot of reading on this, and I've talked to the people that have done the research, And when you sit down in an interview format or you read the data, it's very alarming. It's not just like, it'll be okay. No, this is not going to be okay. The reason why it's not going to be okay is you just brought out. You brought up a great point. Is it going to be rolled back? Well, generally speaking, in this society, when things are rolled out, it doesn't very often get rolled back.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I would say this, if you want to talk about trends in society, okay?
Mm-hmm.
When I was growing up, you didn't hear a lot about driving under the influence arrest because a lot of people just got away with it. There were those that, but you heard many stories.
The cops would have you pour the beer out on the side of the road, and you'd keep
exactly.
rolling. Yeah,
absolutely. And it was almost, and again, understand what I'm saying here, almost not a big taboo. Okay, even if you were to, I guess, get cited for driving under the influence. Now, if you want to look at what happened with Tiger Woods most recently and others, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, was it Justin Timberlake out in the Hamptons? My point is, like, now in our society, and I'm sure there are loopholes everywhere, but in our society now, with driving under the influence, I would say there's little to no leeway if law enforcement feels that you're driving under the influence. Would you agree with that?
There's cameras everywhere, Grant. And
yes, that's right.
The officers are wearing cameras. So if an officer pulls you over, gives you leeway, and intersection records you running a red light and hurting someone else or yourself, that's now a liability on the officer.
So what I'm saying is, like, things change, right, in society. But I think with this sports gambling and the amount of money is the root of all evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct? Isn't it money the driving force of everything?
Absolutely.
Okay. So how are leagues going to sacrifice millions and millions of dollars in revenue because it's the right thing to do? They're not. Well, how does that work?
So that's where I have the problem. So Adam Silver, for now almost 4 or 5 months, at least his last 2 press conferences, he has basically pled for the federal government to get involved. Like, he thinks he's identified the areas in sports gambling specific to the NBA where they're having the problem. And because right now it's at a state's level, he wants federal legislation that's going to say you can't do, like, if you want to do an over-under, there's no longer an under. There's just an over, right?
Right.
And so I think that's the next step where these leagues are going to look to have their cake and eat it too, which still does not address the problem that you are talking about.
Yeah, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know what is going to happen. What I do know is what is happening. And the trend, and again, what Paul Feinbaum talked about today and with Danny Sheridan's research and the research that I've read, I don't know how much you've studied up on this.
A decent amount, yeah.
Okay, don't when you read these things, don't you just go, oh my gosh? Don't you just go, wow? Don't you just go, this is not good?
A lot of times when I read the things, I say, how did they not see it coming?
Yes.
That's the, when you go back to the dollar and money being the root of evil, you sign on with that company. If you're the NBA or the NFL, whoever you're with, you know what's coming with it. And their excuse is, well, it's been going on forever, undercover and private bookies and, certain states that have it legal, but it's different when you open it up to okay. The trouble that you had to go through back in the day to make a real bet with a bookie, you didn't want to deal with somebody coming after you if you lost your bet and didn't pay, and you didn't want to do something illegal. Now, I mean, the options are endless, and there's 2 sides of this coin too. People don't just get the rush off of winning, they get the rush off of losing. as well. Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? How am I going to scramble? So it's
Hey, I remember being in college, and I had a summer job on Long Island working at a bar. It's called the Woodbury Pub. Okay?
Yep.
And the owner of the pub was a big-time sports gambler. And there were times when we would close at 4 a.m. That was when you closed the bars in New York, where we were cleaning up, and a bookie would come in to get his money.
Mm.
And I would see this owner go to the cash register. We had 2 registers, and take money out and literally look in the tip jar and everywhere else to pay off a debt. And there were very often times that he was short, and I would hear some of the conversations that were not pleasant.
Mm.
And that always stuck to me as, wow. And I would hear him at times on the phone calling his bookie. His code word was Navy Flyer. So that's the individual on the other end would pick up, and this is Navy Flyer.
Yeah.
What's your line on this game? What's your line on that? All right, give me this, give me that, give me this, give me that. Right? And then when it came time to collect and the scrambling, and I remember hearing him ask his buddies at times, hey man, I need to borrow 50. I need to borrow this. I need to borrow that. It was ongoing every night. And I was thinking to myself, as somebody that was 19, 20, 21, and yes, I could work in a bar because the drinking age in New York was 18. I remember thinking to myself, even back then, wow, what a vicious cycle this is, right? Like it had an impact on me.
That's
I'll
incredible.
never forget that.
Never forget that. The fact that you were able to recognize that too. I just hope we don't get to a spot where, going to a game, part of the experience is grabbing a soda, hot dog, and making a bet, right? Like you're going to walk a fine line between getting things so intertwined that you can't do one without the other. It will ruin the way you watch sports. I mean, fantasy football, for instance, you've stayed away from it because you don't want to make it change the way you watch football.
Yeah.
Right? So
I heard him on the phone once, and he was asking his bookie for a line, and he's like, 6. The Daily News has got it at 7. And then he started laughing, and when he hung up the phone, I'm like, what's so funny? He goes, when I told him the Daily News is 7, my bookie said, then call up and bet with the Daily News.
So it's funny that guy was so open with their bookie. I was around somebody that had a bookie as well, and they had a code word, right? But it was I'm going under on 17. Like they already had like their code names and numbers. They had the games numbered and everything. So it was like a boom, 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 boom.
I was on a cross-country flight once from San Francisco to New York with a big-time gambler. And this was when there were airphones on board. You remember that? When you could pay?
Yeah, pay to use the phone. Yep.
Well, and you know how expensive that was, right?
It's like $10.
Right. He literally, because he was the football season was starting that weekend. And we were flying to New York to go to the Niners-Giants game. And he literally, for the entire 5 hours, I am not exaggerating, was on the phone calling various bookies, because each bookie would have a limit to how much you can bet. And he was betting 6 figures total in smaller increments, because not every bookie. And literally the entire flight, I'm sitting on the plane flying from San Francisco to New York, listening to the bets being placed over an airphone across the country. And I'm thinking to myself, the amount of money you're spending just on the phone calls is just astronomical.
There's just some people that have it. And so I think I've talked about somebody that I was around at one time, but very, very wealthy. He was a massive developer in the San Joaquin Valley. And he had multiple houses in Santa Cruz. It was the Super Bowl story that I told you when I wore the Steelers jersey and I was almost disowned by my family. Well, anyways, he had a place in Palm Springs and there was a casino out there and he liked some action. And we all walk into the casino and he hands us $1,000 chip. I put it in my pocket and cashed it out. I didn't play one thing. But watching him play, I mean, doubling down, playing multiple hands at 10,000 a pop for
I'll tell you,
an
it's
hour at a
nerve-wracking
time.
when you see that. I know.
Yes. And it's all over online. That's the other aspect, Grant. You have people online that have these huge followings, like 2.5, 5 million. This guy, Vegas Matt, he tapes himself gambling and winning up to $1 million on some days.
It's unbelievable.
It's everywhere now.
My wife and I watched a very, very well-known athlete during the celebrity golf tournament at Lake Tahoe at the high limit room there. We were with this individual for 45 minutes. And that individual lost $650,000 in 45 minutes. Playing double hands of 15 and 20,000 a hand. And my wife said, I can't watch this anymore. I'm getting nauseated. She goes, I got to leave. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
And she walked out like, let's go. So you see it all. All right, let's get back to the games. Philadelphia and Boston is underway. Atlanta, New York, Portland, San Antonio. When we come back, Ryan, these 3 games tonight, give me the road team that you think is most likely to win tonight. Ooh. Philadelphia, Atlanta, or Portland. We'll do that next right here on Fox Sports Sacramento.
Buckle up, racing superfans. This Sunday at 1 p.m., the Esquire IMAX Theater is showing F1 racing live for the first time. Experience Formula One racing like never before. Only on Esquire's IMAX 6-story screen with full power and surround sound. Feel the engines pulse through your skin as if you're right there on the track. Get your F1 live tickets for this Sunday at 1 p.m. and experience racing like you never have before. Only at Esquire's IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number.
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Homeowners, if you have an electrical project you need done, then you need the good dudes at Gabrudes. Family owned and operated for 30 years, Jay Gabrude and his team are the area's recognized experts for everything electrical, from the very basic like repairs, lighting upgrades, and whole house fans, to the biggies, panel replacements, EV stations, and backup generators. Gabrudes does it all and does it right the first time. They're actually the guys their competition recommends. Gabrudes, expert 5-star service and always transparent, honest prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Visit Gabrudes.com or call 24/7 and speak with a real live person. Gabrudes, G-U-B-R-U-D-S.
Call the good dudes at Gabrudes. G-U-B-R-U-D-S. Gabrudes.com.
Building friendships and bonding with family. It's what people experience during a day out at Golden State Shooting Center. Only moments outside of Sacramento. Golden State Shooting Center is a favorite for those who love the sport of trap, skeet, and sporting clay target shooting. It's also where the California Youth Sport Shooting Association trains and competes. New teams are being formed, and if you've got a son or daughter in high school, they can compete for college scholarships. Learn more at goldenstateshootingcenter.com or call 916-539-8544.
All right, bold prediction of the second hour of the show. Philly and Boston just underway. Atlanta, New York, Portland, San Antonio. Ryan, give me the road team that you think is most likely to win this evening.
Grant, this is like an extra bold prediction of the day because I don't like any of them tonight. But if I had to choose one, it would be the Hawks. How about you?
I'm going Philadelphia because Joel Embiid's back. And I think when Embiid is on the floor, Philadelphia is a completely different animal and different matchup problems. And I think for that reason, if I had to pick one team, I would pick Philadelphia.
He looked really good last game. I don't know how much you caught
Yeah,
of him.
no, but I mean, the
good.
fact that he's back and is playing, I just, that's why I'm saying that. Now he should be better tonight, shouldn't he?
Yes and no,
Okay.
depending on how he feels after his first run coming off the surgery. Might be a little bit sore.
Maybe.
But, yeah, you'd expect to see him a little bit sharper when it comes to the fine skills, the shooting, etc. But
you ready for this number? Boston only has 6 points with 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right
Philly
now.
only has 10, by the way. It's 10-6.
It's the story of the playoffs, Grant.
Yes.
How about the Orlando game last night? Both teams under 100.
Yep. So, okay, my question is it good defense or bad offense? Are we seeing really bad shooting in some of these games? Because that's what I'm seeing a lot.
Yes. Orlando shot the ball horrendous last night.
Awful.
Jalen Suggs, my goodness, he could
Terrible.
not throw a pea in the Pacific.
It was embarrassing.
Yeah, so it's a combination of both. Guys, here's what I would say. You're seeing really good defense, and you're seeing a lot of wide open shots missed.
Wow. Somebody said just boarded from Kauai to Sacktown. Listen to the best sports podcast in chat. Love you guys. BJ, flying from Kauai into Sacramento, listening to us on the flight. Love you, man. That is beautiful.
That a boy,
Technology.
BJ.
What a beautiful thing. And how depressed would you be coming from Sacramento or coming to Sacramento from Kauai? Oh, my gosh.
Why would you be depressed? You're coming off
You'd
of
be
a great...
depressed because you're leaving the Hawaiian
Yeah,
Islands.
but
That's
you're coming
why.
off a great vacation.
No, you're
probably.
depressed.
Okay,
no.
then
BJ,
you and I
are you
are
depressed?
different.
Be honest, buddy. DJ, let's call it the way it is. All right. You're not. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm sad. I can't believe I'm leaving here. And he's been there a couple of weeks.
Okay, you're not going to be excited to leave, but I'm not going to be depressed.
I'd be depressed.
For as much as you travel, you get depressed when you leave?
Darn right I do.
I almost don't
if I
want a
leave
passport
Thailand, I get
now.
depressed. There's an escalator there. It's called the most depressing escalator in the world. And it's on all social media sites. And it is the escalator leaving from the check-in area up to security. And they call it the most depressing escalator in the world.
That's hilarious.
Yes.
That is
That's
funny.
Sawanapoom. It's at Sawanapoom Airport.
The most depressing escalator.
The most depressing escalator in the world.
Oh, my goodness. Too
Yes.
good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, how about that dunk last night from Jamal Cain on the Magic? Did you catch that?
What would you score it?
It's the best dunk of the playoffs.
Okay,
hands
so
down.
you're giving it a on a scale of 1 to 10. Is that a 10 plus?
Like if I'm going to go in my Malik Monk bag,
Yeah.
I'm going to give it a 10.
Did it count as 2 points, or did it get more points for that? Was it still a 2-point shot in the playoffs?
It was a 2-point shot, but
Okay.
it was. You know what it was? It was one of those plays that just changed the momentum.
It was
And
a momentum
changed-
changer. That's
it,
true.
It changed the crowd too. The
Mhm.
crowd was a buzz after that. And
Yep.
I mean, you got to realize part of it's the dunk, but then also the back end of it, the defender. When the defender goes flying on their tush and goes sliding towards the bench, it just makes the dunk look that much better. And that one was beautiful.
Okay, did you watch any hockey last night?
I did not. No.
Okay, well, you missed a classic with the Vegas Utah game. It was just phenomenal, tremendous. Overtime hockey in the playoffs, it's the best.
So one of my buddies watched it, and he said Vegas almost gave it away, or they slowed down.
Yeah.
Is that
All
what
right, here we go.
happened? Yeah.
BJ says having some withdrawals, was on the I can't even pronounce it, but he was on the coast for 3 days.
changing my brain. LOL. Time to come back. Got to get to work. I'll be back for sure.
Yeah, he's refreshed.
I think it's the Napear coast, if I'm not mistaken. BJ says, I'm really enjoying the hockey. Me too. I love it. I watch it every night. Love it.
The time difference in Hawaii right now is insane, by the way, because it's 3 hours earlier than Pacific. You get
What's insane about that?
You just get sports way earlier in the day.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the NBA game starting at 1 in the afternoon, if you're into Philly and Boston, or if you're into hockey, sure, absolutely. Yes.
Hey, those Celtics, they're coming back down 15-14.
Wow, what a riveting first quarter that is.
I mean,
do me a favor.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. During the next break, would you just, because I don't have time to do it, would you go on to the secondary market, whether it's StubHub or anything else, and just let me know what the cheapest ticket you find for the Knicks and the Hawks tonight is going for?
Sure.
I would just be curious.
So Cavino and Rich, before us, were talking about this. You could get 88 tickets to the Mets game. It was either today or tomorrow.
Yep.
For the same cost as one ticket to the Knicks game tonight.
Wow. 88, huh?
88, according to them.
I would think to go to a Mets game, they would have to pay a lot of people to go to those games.
Well, they were starting to talk about that because the Bananas were in town, and they're like, well, do the Mets need to start dressing fans or, have them throw out the first pitch?
How about that? The powerful New York Mets are already 10.5 games out of first place in the month of April at 9-19. 9-19.
Crazy.
It is. Yes. Raise your hand if you had the Cincinnati Reds at 18-10 when the season began.
Crickets.
The Dodgers right now have the best record in the bigs at 20-9. And yet they've only won 5 of their last 10, and they're 20-9. Giants, by the way, 13-15. And we'll see what happens now in Philly. Game is scoreless in the fourth, the Giants and the Phils.
All right.
How many people are going to the A's games this week with the A's in first place? Just curious. But go ahead. What's your question?
Oh, I don't have a question.
Oh, okay.
Get in the door price right now at MSG, $643.
$643. Okay. That's get in the door?
That's get in the door.
Is that standing room or is that not a seat?
No, it is a seat. It's
okay.
It is in section. It's funny how the Garden does their sections. Section 214, 2 seats together.
Okay. And what I'm curious, are you still on the site?
Yeah, I'm there.
What's the most expensive ticket available?
Most expensive. Actually, there's not a ton of them.
Okay.
Around just short of $3,000, and that would be in section 3 that's closest to one of the benches.
Oh, give me an idea without, I'm asking you to approximate, how many rows do you think that would be from the bench?
You are probably, because you're behind the floor seat still.
Yep.
12 rows from the bench.
Okay. Yep. All right. What's interesting to me is it's like being at the Lakers games and at the Knicks games. Those fans that sit courtside and everything, for all intents and purposes, the reason why they have their season tickets is for the playoffs. Money is not an object to them. So they don't need to sell their tickets because they're already filthy rich. They need to be seen at the game.
Right. Exactly. If it was a Kings game, you would see some of those up.
Yes.
Actually, no, I wouldn't limit it to the Kings. I mean, outside of the 2 teams, maybe Boston as well. Yeah. Most teams, you would find some of those tickets. Do you remember back in the day before the internet, when you would call a ticket broker if you couldn't get the tickets directly from the box office?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that used to be fun.
Or just plain old scalping out in the parking lot.
Yeah,
that's what I used to do.
You could trust that, right?
Yeah, there wasn't counterfeit tickets, and you could. Well, I shouldn't say they weren't counterfeit tickets. It wasn't an industry the way it's been lately, but you could scalp tickets, and you would do that and generally have pretty good luck. You could do that. Yes. I did it, not always successful. I tried to do that once for a Rangers game against the Sharks before they even moved into the tank. And it might not even been the Sharks. It was a long time ago. So I couldn't get in. I couldn't do it. There were no tickets.
Technically, is I think illegal with some teams. So like, were you just out there where you like 2 tickets here?
No, you
2
couldn't do it.
tickets?
It was illegal on the grounds of the parking lot or anything. It was an arrestable offense.
So
correct?
you're just like walking up, hey, you need 2 tickets? You got 2?
No, it's very it definitely that is very true. A lot of people don't understand that, but you'd see people getting arrested and everything. It was a big deal.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yes.
What would the cops do with the tickets?
I never found out. I never had to get arrested. I don't know the answer to that. Yeah. Hey, Sean Salisbury is coming after Grant's Rant tonight, 7:00. I'll be on YouTube and X with my Open Forum Tuesday show. Let me update you on some of the scores going on in the world here. The Sixers and the Celtics tied at 19. The Knicks and the Hawks about 30 minutes away from tip-off there at MSG. Baseball tonight, as we said, the Giants and the Phils scoreless in the bottom of the 4th. The A's at home tonight against Kansas City. And in hockey, yes, we've got the NHL playoffs. Who are you taking? Which games are you watching? There were several games going on in the National Hockey League. Boston, Buffalo, Minnesota, Dallas, which figures to be the best because that is tied at 2-2, and Anaheim and Edmonton. So that is your sports schedule here on a Tuesday. Again, as we turn the calendar to May this weekend, we will be on the air tomorrow at 3:00. But we will not be doing a show Thursday and Friday. And then we'll get our attention set to the big day of May 10th, the NBA lottery. The NBA lottery, May 10th. And then we'll know exactly where the Kings will be selecting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. Fifth is highly unlikely.
Bold prediction. Where are the Kings picking?
6th.
4.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say 6. You're saying 4? That's what you're saying? 4. All right. Good. I like it. Take that right now. Said Grant, the Flower was amazingly fast on the ice in the day. Yes, he was. Guy Lafleur, number 10, with Yvonne Cornway, number 12, and so many of those great players on the Montreal and Canadiens. Bob Gainey. Before that, the Rocket, Maurice Richard. Yeah. Some incredible names with the Montreal Canadiens. That is for sure. All right, let's get to some phone calls. We say hello to Bill in Citrus Heights. Bill, welcome to the Grant Napear Show. It's your turn. Go ahead.
Good day, sir. You know, those tickets to the Madison Square Garden for a playoff game, $643, that's pretty cheap as compared to just seeing a regular season game with the Sacramento A's and LA Dodgers.
How much are those tickets?
Well, I went up and looked. My brother-in-law, he owns partial season tickets down at Dodger Stadium, and they were $360 each.
$360. Wow. How about that?
Yes.
$360 to go to a baseball game with the A's and the Dodgers.
Regular season.
Wow. Okay. Well, I won't be there.
MSG tickets? That's what I told my brother-in-law. Sorry, buddy.
Bill, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. By the way, Ryan, from the 209, when you have time and when you run a passport, my dad, who has been a listener for over 20 plus years, is retired, built a house in the Philippines, would love to take you and Rhino around Manila. You'll love it. I'm in. Let's go.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I would love to do that.
Me too.
Thank you for the offer. Tell your father thank you as well.
Yes.
Dorian, by the way, in the chat says there are World Cup tickets for the final right now listed for $2.2 million.
Oh, come on. Come on.
Grant,
seriously?
That's like an oceanfront house on the Oregon coast, my man.
Wow.
$2.2 million.
Wow. Seriously? Dorian spent $2,500 on his ticket to the knockout round in Mexico for the World Cup.
And he got in early, right?
Yes, and he said if they win, he might try to figure out a way to get into the next game in Mexico City. And I'm like, good luck with that. What do you think? If the knockout round is $2,500 and he's going to see Mexico against the Czechs. And if they were able to get out of that round in advance, wow, that's what he's hoping for.
That's an interesting predicament because you could come out of it both ways if you're Dorian. It's like, man, I just got to see Mexico play in Mexico City. It's expensive, I get it, and I'm so happy I did it. Or you are so enthralled with what you just saw. It's like, I don't care what it costs. I'm going tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah. But everything, I mean, at some point, you either have the money or you don't. And I don't know what Dorian's economic situation is, his finance. But my point is, at some point, you got to make a decision that is rational, right?
Yeah. A 380 suite, $7 A's tickets tonight.
Is that right? Well, it's the Royals. It's a Tuesday night. Weather's nice. What do you think about that? $7 to go to the A's?
It's not bad. It's the concessions and the parking. I told you, the parking is silly.
You can park and walk. Park downtown like old Sacramento and walk over.
Yeah, I have my credential now, so I don't have to worry about it. But
okay, you're spoiled.
I'm spoiled, yes. But yeah, if you're just going to a game, it's not cheap.
Okay. Grant's Rant, Sean Salisbury, coming up in about 20 minutes or so. We'll take a break. We'll continue on. Again, we've got a lot of things going on in the world of sports. The second quarter has begun in a low-scoring game in Beantown, 23-21, Boston over Philadelphia. This is Grant Napear, Fox Sports Sacramento. Hey, folks, are you or do you know a veteran or family in need of a heating or air conditioning unit? I've got awesome news because DAS Mechanical is giving back by donating one to a veteran or family in need. Owner Nick Delancey and his family, hey, they're always looking to give back to the community, and they're excited to help out a veteran or family in need. Just go to dasmechanical.org and nominate yourself or, hey, someone you know to receive one. And yes, it comes with installation. It's very simple to enter. Go to dasmechanical.org, click the 2026 HVAC system donation tab. Fill out a very short 6-question nomination form. Nominate now at dasmechanical.org. DAS Mechanical, family-owned, locally owned, HVAC experts, serving Sacramento for years. For all of your HVAC needs, DAS will exceed your expectations. Once again, that's dasmechanical.org.
It's the start of official grilling season, so get outside and fire up the grills with Heartland Steak Co. Known for its high-quality meat, unbeatable freshness, and a family-style commitment to care, that's the Heartland difference. And whether you're hosting a backyard barbecue, planning weeknight dinners, or giving someone the gift of Midwest flavor, Heartland Steak Co. is perfect for any occasion. At Heartland Steak Co., you're getting premium Midwestern meats, hand-cut, hand-picked, and delivered straight to your door. With their Midwestern steak package, it includes USDA choice filet mignons, ribeyes, New York strip, and top of Iowa sirloin steaks to their Midwest pork package, which is stuffed with Iowa and American cut pork chops, their famous ham balls, and more. Ordering is easy at heartlandsteakco.com. And right now, when you spend $175 or more, you'll get 2 free 4-count steak patties with promo code PATTIES. Go and get your 8 free steak patties from heartlandsteakco.com. That's heartlandsteakco.com, promo code PATTIES. Taste the Heartland difference.
Buckle up, racing superfans. This Sunday at 1 p.m., the Esquire IMAX Theater is showing F1 racing live for the first time. Experience Formula One racing like never before. Only on Esquire's IMAX 6-story screen with full power and surround sound. Feel the engines pulse through your skin as if you're right there on the track. Get your F1 live tickets for this Sunday at 1 p.m. and experience racing like you never have before. Only at Esquire's IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento.
You know that chair you sit in for the game and somehow wake up in hours later? That's the Z-Cliner by FlexSteel. This isn't just a recliner, it's a sleep chair built for real comfort. The Z-Cliner smoothly reclines into a zero-gravity position, giving you the support you need whether you're watching the late game, taking a quick nap, or sleeping through the night. FlexSteel combines the comfort of a premium recliner with ergonomic support designed for long periods of rest, not just sitting. From your head and shoulders to your legs and lower back, the Z-Cliner is built to help your body relax the right way. It's perfect for movie nights, overnight guests, or anyone who wants the flexibility of a chair that truly does more. And because it's FlexSteel, you get durable craftsmanship, smooth motion, and lasting quality you can count on. Watch in it, relax in it, sleep in it. The FlexSteel Z-Cliner. Your seat, your sleeper, your comfort zone. Find it at FlexSteel retailers nationwide at zcliner.com/Dan Patrick.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
So I received a message on social media about the most money I've ever spent for a ticket to go to a game. And I remember it very well. It was the Giants and the Patriots at Indianapolis with my two boys. The second time the Giants beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl. And I was able to get 3 face value tickets. And I spent a lot of money, $950 a piece, which like is so foreign to me. But it was the Super Bowl. And I had the conversation with my kids. I go, hey, here's the deal. We're either going to the Super Bowl or we're going on vacation this summer. But if we go to the Super Bowl, then, and they're like, let's go to the Super Bowl. And I knew that was going to be their answer. And to this day, that's one of the greatest experiences I've ever had with my kids from start to finish. Like the whole thing was great. And they'll remember it forever. And it was a great game and the Giants won. And the whole experience was amazing from start to finish. Like there was not one thing that happened that wasn't a great experience. So when I look back at that, that was incredible. The most money I've ever made selling a ticket, I told you, was on January 25th. Actually, it was January 24th because I had sold the ticket the day before the game at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena with the Giants' first Super Bowl against the Broncos. And I had 2 tickets, $75 face value, which we paid for being Giants season ticket holders, and we won the lottery. And I sold the $75 ticket the night before the game for $750. And that was an enormous amount of money for me back then and paid for everything, not only that game, but flying to New York for the Niners playoff game and the Washington playoff game in the 2 weeks preceding the Super Bowl. So like that paid for everything. So that was a big deal for me to be able to sell that ticket the night before the Super Bowl in the parking lot for the Giants and the Broncos. And that was another, to this day, of all of the sports experiences that I've had, that was the most amazing. And not including my kids, okay? Because when you have your family and your kids, it's different. You know, when I say that I had experiences with my father at sporting events that I'll take to my grave. But Like being at the Super Bowl after you've been at almost every home game that the team has ever played, ever since you can remember as a 3-year-old, like that was unbelievable. That really was. And just being, in the RV parking lot, and we pulled up and we ended up parking right next to John Elway's sister and her family. And the party that night, there were no fights. There was no cursing at Broncos and Giants fans. Everyone got along fine. It was like a celebration of the success that your teams had. It wasn't like you suck. No, you know what? It was, we're all having a good time. We're all at a party outdoors in the beautiful January evening. It did cool off a little bit that night, but my point is, it was just a festive celebration of supporting your favorite teams. And so I'll never forget that. Like that was incredible. I had never been to Southern California before. The weather for someone like myself living in a cold weather environment was like, wow. Like when you come from wintertime and you take off from an airport where it's 0 and you land and it's 76 and everything's green and the palm trees. Like when you don't experience that, I've always talked about this, when you don't have that experience, like you only see it on TV. It's not even like real life. It's like make-believe. And I mean that. When you are growing up in cold weather and it's gray and it's dark every day and like you are bundled up, like everything is frigid, and then you get to the airport, and when you land and you walk outside the baggage claim for the first time, and you're like, oh my gosh, when that warm air hits you, like it is just the most amazing experience when you're not used to it. But so those are the two, we talk about buying tickets and selling tickets and Dorian paying $2,500. I get that. All right. I get that. Like that's his passion. That's a dream. All right. Being at Madison Square Garden this year for the Kings and the Knicks with his girlfriend. I get that. I've done it. Like there's nothing that is, to me, replaces a sports trip and the memories that you have and the people that you met along the way. Like it was amazing. I still to this day have pictures on my phone that I have put on my phone from that day at the parking lot, at the RV lot, on the grass, outside of the Rose Bowl. Never forget it. I still to this day have pictures. And it's one of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had. And it was worth every single thing that I did to get there. Driving 2 hours to St. Louis, getting on the flight, going across the country, landing, getting on the blue van to get to Van Nuys, going to a payphone, calling my brother or my friend from college, Mike White, having him pick me up, going to his place in Van Nuys, just like pumped up, excited. I'm like, my adrenaline's, and then I'm like, I'll never forget the sign. Well, what are we doing tonight? He's like, what do you mean, what are we doing? I go, yeah, what are we doing tonight? He's like, dude, what do you mean, what are we doing? We're going to the game. I'm like, we're going to the game tonight? The game's tomorrow night. The game's tomorrow at 3:30. We're going to the game tonight? He's like, yeah, we're going. We're leaving. Let's go. I'm like, we're going to the Rose Bowl tonight? Like, I just got here. Yeah, dude, we're going. Brother, we rented an RV. We get in and we pull into the parking lot at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, and then we park right next to John Elway's sister, and they got everything decked out in Denver Broncos gear and colors, and we've got our RV decked out in we got a Giants rug. We've got flags. We've got I'm like, yes. Never been to the Rose. I'm like, I'm at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. Are you kidding me? Like I thought I was in heaven. Yeah, that was getting to the game almost 24 hours before kickoff. That's living large. I'm like, yeah, yes, that's what it's all about. That's a sports weekend for you. That's like that's what it's all about, being a sports fan. Yeah, you're going to the game 24 hours before it begins. That's what we're talking about. Now you're speaking my language. I'm like, yeah, loved it. Yeah, I'll never forget that. Never. And never forget selling my ticket that night for $750 on a $75 face value ticket. Dorian said, I will never forget the trip to New York, going to the Kings playoff games, and now going to Mexico for a World Cup match. These are memories that are priceless. Yes, they are. They are priceless. All right? No doubt. Those are, and you know what? I just hope that the experience for you is so great. I don't know anything about World Cup soccer, so I would think, and again, if I'm speaking out of tune here, tell me, Dorian, I would think that Mexico is going to win that game against Czechoslovakia. I don't know anything about the Czechs. I don't know anything about the Czech Republic, in their soccer program. I believe you said you're going to that. So, yeah, you'll have a great time. It's just the build-up. Get there early. Experience the flavor of everything. Like, I love getting to events early. Like, big events, get me there way early. I remember taking my kids to the Dallas Giants playoff game at the old Texas Stadium when the Cowboys were the number 1 seed. And I remember getting to the parking lot. We took the red eye and, we pull up hours before the game. We let the taxi let us off. Like, yeah, let's go. We're in our gear and we're throwing a football around and we're watching, slow traffic pull in. Like when I mean slow traffic, it was empty and then all of a sudden it gets vibrant and loud and we're having the best time. And we got invited over to a tailgate party. And, I'm like Giants fans with the Cowboys fans. Again, no fighting, no issues, everyone getting along. And we were just like, man, this is great. By the way, the Giants did beat Tony Romo. That was the game that Jerry Jones thought it would be a good idea to put tickets for the championship game on everyone's seat before the game started, and the Giants got wind of that. Yeah, that didn't work out too well. That didn't work out too well for that team. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, thank you, Jerry. Great job there, Rhino. Great job. Yes, thank you very much. As the Giants ended up going to Green Bay the following weekend, which was Brett Favre's last game as a Packer, that NFC Championship game at Lambeau with Corey Webster picking him off in overtime and Lawrence Tynes with the kick to send the Giants to the Super Bowl. Yes. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you very much. So, yeah, I've been pretty lucky with my father, with my brother, and then with my kids. As Dorian said, Dorian's going alone because of the price of the ticket. I get that. I've gone to many games alone, many, many times. But it's much more fun with friends. It's much more fun with family members, your father, your brother, your friends. That's your kids. Like, it doesn't get better than that. Doesn't get better than that. Grant's Rant, Sean Salisbury. Love talking to Sean. It's all coming up as we get ready to start hour number 3. Update, Boston 45, Philly 39. Under 5 minutes left in the first half. Grant's Rant next, right here, Fox Sports Sacramento.
Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, sports talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn six-figure incomes. And importantly, sports talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
You've been saying you're going to pay better attention to your home's honeydews. Check one off your list right now by calling Gabrude Services to schedule a 12-point inspection of your home's electrical system. The safe rule of thumb is every 5 years for an inspection. If it's been 5 years or more, call Gabrude's now. A qualified technician will provide a thorough inspection of the electrical system to ensure it's safe or alert you to potential problems. At Gabrude's, electrical work is all we do. We are the area's recognized experts for anything electrical, and our number one priority is ensuring your home and family are safe. You've been saying you'll pay better attention to your home. Stop saying it. Make the call to Gabrude's. Talk with a real person and schedule your 12-point inspection today. Gabrude's, locally owned for more than 30 years. Gubruds.
Call the good dudes at Gabruds. Gubruds. Gabruds.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. In today's NIL-shaped college sports landscape, the prevailing belief is simple. College athletics have become a pay-to-win. The last few seasons have also made one thing really clear. Spending for elite talent guarantees very little beyond potential draft picks. Money can build a roster. It can't guarantee anything else. Take Ohio State. The Buckeyes had 11 players taken in this year's draft, 7 coming off the board in the first 2 rounds. That doesn't even account for the next wave of NFL talent still in Columbus. Yet Ohio State failed to win the Big Ten or reach the national title game. The same lesson applies on the hardwood. Duke annually recruits as well as anybody, and last season featured both Cooper Flagg and Con Knipple, 2 frontrunners for the Rookie of the Year. Yet despite routinely assembling some of basketball's most gifted players, Duke hasn't won a title in more than a decade. NIL can buy talent. It's not buying titles. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. When money's tight and you're behind, it can be tough to play catch-up. But Liberty Mutual can help you make a comeback, a fourth-quarter go-ahead drive, if you will. Liberty Mutual is clutch by customizing your car and home insurance to save you money, especially when you bundle. It's insurance built for real people with a team that works hard to help keep more of what matters most in your pocket, money. Liberty, 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 Liberty. Get a quote at libertymutual.com or with your local independent agent, libertymutual.com. 2 words, prostate exam. Relax. Screening starts with a simple finger-free blood test. Around 1 in 8 men in the United States will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. Prostate cancer can have over a 99% 5-year relative survival rate when caught at a localized or regional stage. If you're 40 or over and have a prostate, visit relaxitsabloodtest.com to see if a PSA blood test is right for you. Talk to your doctor about screening and the next steps. Sponsored by Novartis. Tell your friends. Grant's back. Grant Napear is back on the Sacramento airwaves right here. KSAC 890 AM Olivehurst. K284CM 104.7 FM Sacramento.
It's time for Grant.
Why does the NBA got to be so damn confusing with everything? I mean, the anti-tanking rules, we keep on hearing about tanking this, tanking that. And now the NBA's disclosed to its 30 general managers a new draft reform. It's going to be called the 3-2-1 lottery. I mean, it's going to include 16 teams. It's going to be flat odds. It's going to be a relegation zone where the bottom 3 teams will be penalized with fewer lottery balls for the number 1 pick. And, to read this and understand it, it's like, give me a break. Why do we have to have everything so darn confusing? And how come this is only in the NBA? where we're not dealing with this in the NFL and we're not dealing with this in Major League Baseball and the National Hockey League. It always seems to be an NBA problem. Doesn't seem to be a problem in any other sport. You know, I'm fine with just having the worst team get the number one pick. Seriously, can we just go back to some common sense? Worst team gets the number one pick in the draft. And if teams are going to cheapen themselves at the end of the year, then so be it. Worst team gets the number one pick. That's the way it is. This whole new system, it's a turnoff to me. And first of all, it's too darn difficult to understand. It's absurd. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I understand that Adam Silver wants to get rid of tanking and have measures to make it better. I get that. But this is not it for me. It's just not. And that's my rant for today. All right, each and every Tuesday at this time, we love talking with Sean Salisbury right here on Fox Sports Sacramento. Sean, how are you?
I'm well, Grant. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. I did a rant on this yesterday, and you being a fan of the Red Sox, I'm so turned off by Rafael Devers. You know, first of all, he's having a bad year, which is one thing. He's like batting .215, 2 homers and 10 RBI. But you know what drives me crazy? Here's a guy making over $30 million a year. The Red Sox couldn't wait to get him out of Dodge. Comes to San Francisco. He's been a big disappointment, but he blows off the media most nights. You know, how about being a professional and taking some responsibility? This stuff drives me crazy.
Yeah, he just doesn't get it when it comes to some of this. But listen, when he was a Red Sox and was a diehard Sox fan, they're struggling. Hell, managerial change, a lot of crap going on. And there's a lot of that going on with good teams, as you know, like the Mets and Philly fires theirs. I mean, it's crazy. We're, 30 games, 28, 30 games into the season, and they're already rolling. But Devers, listen, you could tell on the exit part when Bregman got there. Listen, there ain't no doubt the guy can swing the bat. I mean, as a baseball player, he's a talented guy, but that's not what you're talking about. You're talking about just don't be a turd, man. And he makes it hard to like him. I don't know what he's like as a teammate, but judging from what we saw when Bregman and they asked him to switch positions, it feels to me like everything's great as long as Rafael Devers is getting his. I think he's a great front runner, but when he's not, and when they disappear, then he hit a home run. He's got a great bat, but average fielder, wasn't willing to change for the team. When he left, he couldn't wait to get out. Said he wouldn't play first base or anything else other than third base, and then goes to other place, decides he'll play it. I mean, it feels to me, and I don't know Devers from Adam other than watching him year after year and watching him rake at times, but it feels to me that as long as Rafael Devers is getting his money, his hits, and even in losses, it feels to me like Rafi Devers is okay as long as he gets his. And there's those athletes in every sport that when they say, let me get mine, that they're unhappy if the team wins and they don't get theirs. But if the team loses and they get 4 hits, they're still jovial as could be and happy as a pig in crap. So, you know what? I take him for what he's worth. You can't change what he is. The guy is a selfish player who, when he's good, he's as good a left-handed hitter as there is in the game. When he's not, then look out, because you'll get a lot of the other stuff you don't want from a guy. I want a teammate that when he's going crappy, he's still got everybody else on his mind, because it sucks to go through slumps. Rafael Devers proved in Boston he was a selfish player. That's just the bottom line. But he's a great one when he's hitting. But when he's not, it's all about him.
Sean, the recent NFL draft, and we had a listener last week make a great point. Can we stop with the nonsense of after the first round having representatives of teams announce the picks? I mean, it becomes embarrassing. The one selection of the Buffalo Bills player, getting the year wrong and can't even say can't even say the number right. I mean, this is like a lifetime announcement for these draftees, the guys that are in attendance. And this is like, to this point, the biggest moment of their life. And you have an individual trying to represent a team instead of a commissioner. I mean, the announcement can be embarrassing. I mean, can we move on from this, please?
Yeah, Grant, I'm with you. And listen, sometimes the former player or the guy who's in the city starts to make it about him. Hey, man, so great. Starts to just announce the pick. It's not about you. You've already been a pro.
Right.
You're either your career's over, you're a Hall of Famer, or you're a former player. We loved you when you were playing, but it's now about the kid who's 22 years old trying to get a chance. Just announce the pick with the 4th pick in the 5th round. The so-and-so chooses the 200th pick and move on. The only thing I do like is if it's somebody who has a disability, somebody who lost somebody in the military, get up there and you're honoring somebody. A few of those, and you don't have 50 of them, but somebody who's doing that, it's the 5th pick of the 6th round or the second day. You lost a fighter pilot, was a member of the family who loved the Steelers. I'm okay with that. And you know what? If somebody who's going through that mispronounces the name a little bit, we'll get it fixed. And I think that player probably understands. But when it comes to former players, I just keep it moving, man. Keep it moving. It's about the player. Let's get up. And I'll tell you what, the best thing I saw, if you watched the ABC coverage with Saban and Herb Street and Desmond Howard and Reese Davis, it just rolled. That's the way it would be. I didn't get all the pomp and circumstance and, this guy's a reach. It just, here's what he brings to the table. Here's why it's a good fit. Add a little humor and get to the next one. It was like College Game Day without any of the pomp and circumstance. That's the way it should be. I don't need all the analysis, quite frankly, from guys that at times, all it is after about the first 5 picks is a crapshoot anyway. You don't know who's getting picked. It drives me crazy. I'm with you. Let those who don't have an opportunity or lost somebody or it mattered, if you lost a pick, if it was somebody we lost a Steeler, Mike Webster's son over the years. Yes, I'm all for that.
Yep.
Hell, and we got to deal with that. And if it takes an extra minute, okay. But I don't need the former. Yeah, great. You played for Buffalo and you're the 2nd round guy. Just get the pick and go, because it's not about the person who's calling it. It's about the former player, the current one or former. It's about the current player who's getting drafted. So I just assume roll with it and get it going and be crisp and firm. And hey, the one thing that stuck out to me, the first round, Grant, we got a lot of great families. That first round that stuck out to me, a lot of families that are the faith, and the guys were classy, the players and their family. I thought that part was awesome. The first, just the way the families were excited, but there wasn't a whole lot. Just move on and keep it classy and keep it going. So there were some good things to like, but I'm with you. I don't need a former 3rd round player that can't pronounce the guy's name right, announcing it. Let's just keep it moving.
Sean, how surprised were you with the Rams at the 13th pick when they selected quarterback Ty Simpson out of Alabama?
When you're going on my show a couple days before that, a couple days before that, early in the week, when I heard Jay Glazer say something crazy, he can't announce it yet, but was going to happen. I was thinking, okay. Then I started naming things. Well, somebody's going to trade up to the Arizona Cardinals to get Jeremiah Love with the 3rd pick, and then I also mentioned, because the Rams talk about Simpson, somebody's going to either trade up or a team like the Rams is going to draft Ty Simpson. Now, but that was we were just kind of reaching, right? You know if it was going to come true.
Sure.
And as you watch the draft, those first few picks, Grant, when they showed Ty Simpson and his dad, who's a football coach at the college level, he looked awfully happy and relaxed, like he knew something. Well, now that we know he met with McVay, he had a pretty good idea. He was going in the first round because and that high, and with the secret conversations they supposedly had, he and McVay. I'm not overly surprised, Grant. I'll tell you why. The more after the pick, I started to think, okay, why? The Rams are loaded. I know that we thought maybe a Mekhi Lemon or a receiver because of the Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua contract situation. But then we thought, okay, they're loaded at tight end. They know how to run the football. Defensively, they're stocked. Their quarterback's the reigning MVP. It's a luxury pick. It was. And the Rams are not, they're not going to get that pick very often. Normally they're picking 28th, 29th, 27th. So it's a luxury pick. And you say, okay, how long's Matt going to play? 3 years, maybe 2 years. Who knows? When you're the reigning MVP, hell, as long as you can stay healthy. It's the perfect pick when you think about it. They think he can play. He's not ready yet. He's only been a 1-year starter in college. He's accurate, high football IQ, likes to boot it and get it out, and that's what McVay does and involve tight ends. So it made sense the more you looked at it. And then I said when they were talking about McVay's body language, it didn't look like he was happy. Listen, what's he supposed to do? Somersaults over the 13th pick when one of his better friends who vacations with him in Cabo after the season, Matt Stafford. You're not going to be doing somersaults when you got the quarterback there that's your MVP and your buddy, as if you're like overjoyed that he's your replacement. You keep it simple, respect the guys that are already in the building, welcome in the new guy. It makes sense. Why? because the Rams aren't going to get an opportunity to pick in the top 5 with Arch Manning unless they trade half their draft moving forward. So why not get a guy who can develop? And the Rams don't really cherish draft picks very much. They usually trade them to go get a veteran. It's a luxury pick, and so they have it. And to pick him at 13, Sean McVay knows quarterbacks pretty well. And Les Snead, I would say they're both in the top 3 or 4 in their position in the league. Listen, they watched him, looked at tape, talked to him. If it's good enough for them, it should be good enough for somebody on the internet. I know it was odd because the social media and draft prognosticators said that's too high. I would say Sean McVay's an expert at quarterback play. I'm going to trust his word more than I am some mock draft that had Ty Simpson as the 45th pick.
Sean, perception's not always reality, but A.J. Brown, when he was in Tennessee and then Philadelphia, just 2 seasons ago, they win the Super Bowl. Last year, he didn't look happy. And then Adam Schefter reports before the draft that, as soon as June 1st comes, he's going to be traded to New England. Were you ever around a really talented player that just appeared to be unhappy all the time or was just a lot to deal with? And again, I'm going by perception. I don't know A.J. Brown, but it just seems like this guy's never content, never happy.
Yeah, and Grant, I kind of mean this tongue-in-cheek, and I'm laughing, but I'm serious too. He's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
If you want to look for the diva part, now I love wide receivers that want the football. Chris Carter wanted the ball when it was pregame warm-up. Okay, the great ones all do. AC, Anthony Carter. And you love that, but neither one of those guys became a distraction if they didn't get it. They found other ways to help the team, right? So you want the guy who says, it's like taking the last shot in the hoops, and I may miss it, but I want it. And so I love those guys, but, it seems like AJ's had, like I said, he's got a little bit of diva, but a lot of receivers do. Doesn't make them bad. It just makes them a pain in the ass sometimes. And they're happy when they get their money and when they get their catches. And I always refer to a guy like Hines Ward. I loved watching him because if he had 2 catches for 27 yards, he still impacted the game because he'd go block your butt off. He'd go knock the hell out of a safety. And it just seemed like he was always happy. But I do love their arrogance at times and their swagger, as long as it doesn't, interject itself when the team's winning. You don't become that guy who's miserable. Because now I understand you want to be involved. Now, if you've lost 5 in a row and A.J. Brown has 4 catches in 5 games, we got an offensive problem. Then he should be pissed. But when things are going or you're winning, you just fit in and hope you get yours, but they all want to get paid. So I've heard both, pain in the ass, diva, and he's better than that, and people like you. I've heard both in the building. I really have, Grant. So, and I've never had a conversation with him, but I just chalk it up to receiver, and they're happy when they get theirs. And the frustration in the passing game the last couple of years, and there's always somebody who thinks that they can make it better for an A.J. Brown type. But I like him. I'd want to, if the Raiders would go get him, I'll take him. I just, you want him, and they like those guys who can get him the football. So I don't know enough about him, but yeah, receivers in general and defensive backs. If you're looking to be traded or want that player empowerment or looking for, if there becomes a little bit of a headache in the locker room, what you got to decide, is it a migraine or is it just a small headache that 2 Tylenol can take care of? And I feel like he's kind of been a tweener. I need 4 Tylenol instead of 2. But I can tell you this, there's plenty of others that are much more migraine. And I have never, I'm thinking over in my time, fiery guys that wanted the football, that talked trash. Chris was as into it as much, getting arguments on the sideline all the time. But he wanted to win, and he was one of my best friends. So he didn't have a problem with it. And you know what? You got to compartmentalize. You fight, you get after it, you get the ball, and you go. But I know this: we were better when Anthony Carter and Chris Carter touched the football. The Philadelphia Eagles are better, and so will the New England Patriots. Whoever trades for A.J. Brown will be better when he's involved. So you just got, to me, when it comes to that position or the cornerback, defensive back position, you got to know how deep the headache will affect. Is the headache bigger than the skill set? And if it is, or the production, then you got to get them out of the building. If you can deal with the headache and it's not bigger than the talent or the impact on the team, then you just hope veterans in the locker room, you go up and slap them upside the head and say, "Come on, man, there's a refocus. We need you." And usually that's about all it takes. And a lot of times it's a veteran receiver on the team that goes and says, "Hey, man, no, we're gonna go fix this." So it's it's like a pitcher dealing with pitchers and a catcher dealing with or a great hitter dealing with the rest of the roster. So AJ Brown, I'd like to have him on my team because he's productive, but yes, certain players, it just feels like discontent follows them around. But I'm willing to take the risk because I think the talent's still bigger than the headache.
I've never asked you this before. We're the same generation, but we grew up on opposite sides of the country. I'm a New York guy. You're a SoCal guy. I grew up watching hockey, was at Madison Square Garden on Sunday afternoons with my father, going to Ranger games. I was playing pond hockey. I watch hockey every night. I love the Stanley Cup playoffs. I think it's the greatest thing going, but you love hockey and you watch it. But you grew up in an area when you were a kid that didn't have hockey. When did you become like a fan of hockey? How did that work out? How did that happen?
Grant, you remember, and you'll know this, remember when there was one game of the week on it might have been NBC at the time, at 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern. And it was always the Buffalo Sabres and the French Connection with René Robert and Gilles Perreault and Rick Martin, or it was the Broad Street Bullies, or it was the Bossy Trottier. Even before that, like in Chicago, the Darcy Rhoda, the Stan Mikita, the Tony Espo, right? Stan Mikita, that whole group. That was my Bernie Parent and Bobby Clark and Billy Barber, and for Philly.
Sure.
And there was about 8 teams that were on every week, right?
Sure.
And it was a 10 o'clock game. So I started watching. I liked the speed. I loved hockey. And I know you're going to laugh. And I wasn't skating. I mean, I could ice skate at the rink, but you know what we do? We go when we got that plastic black puck or a tennis ball.
Yeah.
We'd go get the mini nets. They were like, you'll see the smaller nets, and we'd use a baseball glove for the goaltender, and you put a hockey catcher's mask on, and you'd curve your stick. I'm right-handed, but I played left-hand low, so I'm a left-handed hockey. And when I tell people, we'd either get on roller skates or or you'd run on your tennis shoes. And we had our local elementary school when I was in the third grade. We had a flat surface. It was concrete, but it was flat about beyond the school, right by it. We would go and put nets at both ends and and I'm telling you, and when I tell people this, they say, well, what do you know about hockey? I could play, and I wanted to be Tony Esposito.
Love it.
And then I fell in love with the Blackhawks, but I loved the French. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was the Sabres outfits, but when people say, well, who's the French Connection? I say, you don't want to get into this, Desjardins was going to go. I say, you don't want to get in this argument because I can hold my own with the East Coasters. So
love it.
That's how. And there was no Gretzky at the time. And, I watched every Saturday at 10 o'clock Pacific, the game of the week. And then we'd go out and emulate Espo because he was a left-handed goaltender. And we would just pick the best players and we go knock each other around and play. And I fell in love with it. And since then, it's the only season ticket now, unless I got a Fenway Park and lived in Boston. But if you said, Sean, give me one season ticket you'd buy, it would be an NHL. If I lived in New York or Boston I would be all season, and I would go to 40 of the 42 home games. That I'm just telling you, I would live there. And I've been fortunate over the years and meeting guys along the way, like Bernie Nichols and those guys.
Sure.
And meeting a lot of hockey players. And some of those old St. Louis Blues. So I got a bunch of buddies that are former NHL guys, and Tony Twister. So I'm a fanatic, man. And it's the best postseason all around that we have.
It's great. And watching these playoffs is amazing. And you just brought up some names of because I remember so many of those names. Like when I saw Yvonne Cornway come out for the Canadians.
Montreal Canadiens could skate his ass
I'm like,
off.
oh my gosh, the Roadrunner. And then you think about those teams with, Guy Lafleur and Bob Gainey, and we can go Ken Dryden, we can go on and on. But I've been watching these hockey playoffs. I absolutely love them and the atmosphere and these overtime games. I'm with you. It just doesn't get any better than that.
And Ray, it was a time when the big boys, and I always liked the big, but it was, if you wanted to fight Gordie Howe, you were making a mistake. He'd give you a hat trick and then beat your brains in. I used to love, when you go back in old school and, thinking about some of the old studs that if you decide, and when, Bernie Parent would come out of the net and go fight, Clark Gillies, and it was just, awesome to watch.
I was at Madison Square Garden with my father and my brother. We were on our Christmas college break, and it was either 78 or 79. The Rangers are playing the Boston Bruins, and I was at the game where the Bruins, at the end of the game with O'Reilly,
Terry
McNabb, Stan
was
Jonathan
mean,
climbed,
brother.
Sean, climbed over the glass at Madison Square Garden and went into the stands to start a fight with the fans. That was unbelievable.
You were there?
Yes,
You
I
were
was there with my father
man,
and my brother.
You know what I do, Grant, when I get bored sometimes? I will Google old hockey fights. Oh, that's one of the all-time great fights.
Yes.
Going over the boards. And
Yes.
the fans who talk that trash, when Terry O'Reilly or somebody decide to go into the stands, you better get your ass out and take your hot dog with you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And Grant, it just, for me, I just, watching the other night, I was watching the Kings get eliminated by Colorado.
Yeah.
You know, in 4 straight.
Yep.
And I'm going to tell you another thing. Why am I losing my mind? The captain of the Kings for 10 years.
Kopitar.
Yeah,
20,
right.
Yep.
Yeah. He's been a captain,
What a
long
tribute.
career.
What a tribute.
But hockey does this. Both sides, he goes and hugs the other players in there. The coach and that group. Then comes out and everybody's, doing what they do and hitting their sticks on the ice. And, on the road in Colorado, after that great career, you could see his emotion. I'm like, now, what other sport does this? What other sport?
Nothing.
You just got your ass kicked, and
no one.
You stay out on and the Colorado fans stay around to make sure that they're. To me, Grant,
it's the best.
It is, and it was in Colorado, right? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, no,
it was
the whole scene, it was unbelievable.
Unreal.
Unreal. Incredible.
Yeah, and it hit me with the emotion because he's had such a great career. Yep. And, he's been a captain for over a decade. So those moments are why hockey's still the greatest and most. What's crazy is you beat your brains in, yet they'll have a beer with you after, and it's the most respectful fist fight on the planet.
Yep.
And then the skill set, McDavid's goal the other night when he did a 360 and played, it's in another game, it's sick. These guys are out of their friggin' mind how skilled they are with the puck on their stick. I love it, and you'll never be able to convince me otherwise that it is not the best postseason we have. And some of my favorite people in the world are hockey players.
Well, Sean, you obviously remember Phil Esposito very well, and all of the goals that he would score on the doorstep, and you couldn't move him away from the crease. So I'm on the Long Island Expressway in the 70s, and the greatest bumper sticker that I've ever seen, Jesus saves, but Espo scores on the rebound. How classic is that?
Dude, it's classic. And for the next, give me 30 seconds. I'm at a golf tournament with the Tyson Foods owner, has his own golf course in Arkansas, where Walmart is, and he's Tyson Foods corporate headquarters. So they invited like 25 of us, some actors. Eli Manning was there, myself. And so I'm there, and I was one of these things, is not like the other, but it was when I was at ESPN. So we go, the night before we had the pairings party, we go to a place called Eddie Haskell's right there in Arkansas. And we go in to have after our meeting and the pairings party's over, we go out to Eddie Haskell's on the back patio. It was a beautiful night. And so on this back patio is myself, Wade Boggs, Brett Hull. I've known Hully forever, and Boggsy was there. Or Soxy, Right now I'm in sports heaven, right? I got my man Boggsy and Hully's right next to me. Bobby Hull and Phil Esposito.
Oh my gosh!
I'm sitting in between Brett Hull and Boggsy, and standing up at the head of the table, and everybody's like outside a rope. Keep bringing drinks over. It would have taken us 17 days to finish them, but I'll tell you what, Bobby Hull tried. I promise you, we all did. Tequila shots, dude. And I'm just telling you, when we sit down, Brett Hull hits me in the ribcage. He goes, "You're gonna love this." And Phil and Bobby Hull, who are great friends, obviously, for 4 hours, it was drinking, storytelling,
love it,
hockey,
love it.
And Wade Boggs looks at me and goes, "Sals, can you believe this?" I said, "Can I believe this?" I said, "I got a Hall of Fame baseball player, one of the great hitters ever to my right, Hall of Fame hockey player in Brett Hull, and I got the two of the all-time legends that would fight if they had to. Bobby Hull would take on the whole bar still if he was alive. You know what I'm saying?"
Absolutely.
So I'm with you four legend, and then it's me. I said, "What do you mean? Can I believe this?" No, I can't believe it. It's the greatest sports night other than when I was with Kitty Sandler in my friggin' life. That's the most important things to me. Those relationships and those nights stick out more than any touchdown I ever threw. But
Sean,
Grant, I promise you, if you'd have been there, you would have said,
"Hey,
this is why we do this job."
Yes,
it was
Sean,
phenomenal.
If you and I sat around with some beers and some cigars, we would have stories that would last until sunrise, because I've got stories just like that I can't even tell on the radio, as you well know, that are lifelong memories. Real quickly, my best friend at the time, who's the president of hockey operations now, George McPhee, was playing on the Rangers.
Oh yeah, Big George.
Yeah, George and I were roommates in college. He won the Hobie Baker Award his senior year at Bowling Green. I was announcing all the games, and we've always been just incredible friends. So real quickly, they lose in the playoffs in the second round on a Friday night, and we go to, speaking of Espo, he and two other guys own this bar in Manhattan called the Sticks, and the bar was shaped like the top of a hockey goal. But then we end up in Rye, New York at about 4 a.m. That's where the Rangers trained. And there was a bar up there called the Pub. And this is where all the players used to hang out at. So we get to the pub at about 4 a.m. and we are there all through the night, all through Saturday day. And at Saturday night, the bartender and the owner, one-man band guy, Hitch, goes, man, I got to close, man. I got to go to sleep, Well, I attended bar in college for 4 years. And George goes, Hitch, my buddy can tend bar. We got to keep this open. We can't leave. And he'll give away the bar. I go, Hitch, I won't give away the bar. Teach me how to work the register. Make a long story short, I end up bartending for the entire Rangers team. Ron Greshner was there with Carol Alt. Remember Carol Alt, the cover girl model?
Oh, supermodel. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Laidlaw stand next to him. All of the Rangers. I still remember to this day, Gresh and Laidlaw were drinking Jack and Coke. I'm sorry. Anyway, Hitch comes in early in the morning on Sunday. I don't know, maybe 7, 8 o'clock. We're still there. You couldn't stop drinking, because if you stopped drinking, you would pass out. And it wasn't hard for me because I only drank beer. I didn't drink anything else other than beer, so it was no problem. We were at that bar from 4 a.m. until early Sunday morning. Well, all of a sudden, and I'll tell you the name off air, I can't tell you now. This guy comes in, former Ranger, all right, part of the team, and he's still got a suit on. And we're like, dude, what happened to you? His mouth is bleeding. His eye is swollen. His suit is ripped. And you got to remember, this is the early 80s now. He goes, well, I got to go home. I had called my wife late Friday night and told her I was kidnapped, and now I've got to go home. I just had some of the buddies rough me up in the parking lot, so it makes it a good story to my wife. How about that? He goes, I just had some of the boys rough me up in the parking lot because I now have to go home.
That's a great, and true as hell, too. Safest place in New York that night? In that bar in Rye, New York. And if you ever throw a charity event and they commit, they will never not show up. They're the greatest people on the planet. Oh, yeah, we're going to sit around and share stories. And if we had about 6 or 8 of our hockey buddies with us sharing those stories, we wouldn't sleep for 3 straight days. It's my favorite stuff in the world, man, those stories. Yeah,
you know what? We have to make a date. I'll fly to Houston if I have to. We'll hang out one night. We'll share stories. And I guarantee you we'll be up until the sun rises.
Screw that. We're not doing it in Houston. We ain't got a hockey team. We'll go wherever we need to go to a hockey bar.
Hey, we'll go to Vegas. I'll have George.
And then we'll share
you know what?
Stories.
We'll go to Vegas. George will set us up for a Vegas playoff game, and we'll do it in Vegas. What's better than that?
I'm all in. Golden Knights. I've been to the Stanley Cup Finals there for when Ovechkin and Washington won. I am all in, brother. You don't have to ask me twice.
You're the best. Talk to you next week, man. Have a good one.
All
you
right,
take care.
Thank you. You too.
Man, I could talk with Sean Salisbury every day for 3 hours and share stories. It doesn't get better than that. We're overdue for a break. We'll come back on Fox Sports Sacramento.
We are
This is Kurt Bagelman. Does your business need more customers? If you said no, congratulations. If you said yes, then you need to consider advertising your products and services. People need to know you exist, and then why your business is worth considering to spend their money with. You also need to advertise to the right audience. For example, sports talk listeners have disposable income. They own homes, they're employed, and they earn 6-figure incomes. And importantly, sports talk listeners listen longer, so your advertising message has more opportunity to be heard. Does your business need more customers? If the answer is yes, then give me a call to schedule a conversation. We'll discuss your objectives, talk about potential strategies, and also determine if Fox Sports Radio is a good station for you to consider. Call me, 916-779-0914. Radio gets results, and we are here to help. Call 916-779-0914.
Guys, if you want the greatest night of your life, I mean your best night ever, then you gotta hear this. There's a great ED pill out, and it's from the makers of Viagra. It's their ED pill called Viagra AGV, and it's unbelievable. It works super fast in as little as 12 minutes and lasts up to 12 hours. Plus, it's FDA approved and safe. You need to try it for yourself. It's unreal what it does to you. Viagra AGV crushes every other ED pill, and it's endorsed by the head of urology at the prestigious Cedars-Sinai Hospital in Beverly Hills, Dr. Dudley Danoff. Every man alive needs to try this amazing, remarkable Viagra AGV pill at least once. It's beyond belief. Then you'll know why men are going crazy over it. So if you want to have the most incredible night of your life, you can't miss this. Go to scoreblue.com and try it while supplies last. Go to scoreblue.com, scoreblue.com. That's scoreblue.com. Viagra AGV is available only at scoreblue.com by prescription, no doctor visit.
Homeowners, for any electrical project you need done, trust the good dudes at Gabrewed. Locally owned, 5-star service experts, always transparent prices and solutions. Say goodbye to your electrical issues. Call Gabrewed or visit Gabrewds.com. GUBRUDS.
Buckle up, racing superfans. This Sunday at 1 p.m., the Esquire IMAX Theater is showing F1 racing live for the first time. Experience Formula One racing like never before. Only on Esquire's IMAX 6-story screen with full power and surround sound. Feel the engines pulse through your skin as if you're right there on the track. Get your F1 live tickets for this Sunday at 1 p.m. and experience racing like you never have before. Only at Esquire's IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento.
My retired friends are going back to work. I'm worried Social Security won't be enough. BenefitsCheckup.org connected me to $1,000 a month for food and medicine. It's free. Visit BenefitsCheckup.org today.
Supported by the U.S. Administration for Community Living.
Yeah, if I sat around with Sean Salisbury, it would be epic. Epic. Yeah, we'll have to meet up in Vegas. Won't be able to do it these playoffs, but next year, I'll go, Georgie, we got to do this. So, yeah, we're in.
I think
We're
you
in.
might beat your record for Coors Lights if you meet up with Sean.
Yeah, I might. Yeah, but I'm not a pup anymore. I can't go at the pace I used to if I wanted to go that route.
Oh, I mean, Sean's energy is contagious, so he'll make you feel 25 again for a night, buddy.
Somebody said, oh my God, another cheating husband. This individual is not cheating on his wife. He was out with the boys all weekend having a great time. They weren't, I don't know where people's minds go. 916-779-0929. Someone said, Sean, good people, very true. Sean's great guy, very sincere, honest, has gone through, like most of us, life experiences that have been great and have been bad, and he's persevered, and he's always tried to help out others. He's extremely charitable, does great things for his community, and I'm always a supporter of those that try to help out the less fortunate. And I have always tried to surround myself with people like that and have always gravitated towards people that are always willing to help and always are willing to say, how can I help? As opposed to give me. You know, give me the people, how can I help? What can I do? And donate their time or their product. Or, you know, I used to have a golf tournament every year, and the people that used to come out and volunteer and the restaurant tours, you know, I always talk about those like Brian Bennett. First one to always ask, you know, what can I do? And he'd be out there personally, you know, cooking these great sliders and making sure that we had what we needed. They're just people like that are priceless. They're the best. And they do it out of the goodness of their heart. They're not looking for anything in return. And those are people that I love. Sean's like that, you know, Sean's like that. There aren't enough people there are people that always are looking for handouts, as opposed to people that are, what can I do? What can I do? Oh, no, you don't have to do anything in return for me. I'm doing this because I want to do it. No, you don't have to give me this. You don't have to give, no, just, you know, I'm doing it because I want to do it. I love people like that.
Service.
Absolutely. And making other people's lives better right? Making your community better and understanding the importance of that.
If you haven't done something like that, you really should, because you're going to be surprised by the feeling on the other end.
Oh my gosh, it's the best feeling you can have. Sean and I have talked about this. Putting smiles on other people's faces, helping out less fortunate people, giving people hope, giving people an olive branch. Like, there's no greater feeling. And I don't like to brag about what I did in the community for so many years with my foundation that I started with Joe Namath back in the early 2000s. But like, we put over 100 disadvantaged at need youth, first generational college students of their family, mentoring them in 10th grade, sending them to college, and seeing their lives change and watching their lives change. There's no greater feeling than that.
No.
Like, it's the best.
And maybe the only better feeling would be seeing them pay it forward, but just them going to college, being the first in their family, that indirectly is paying it forward, because you are setting now a bar, a new precedent.
We had students on the back end of their college graduation pay it forward with what we were doing. So I experienced that. And it's a great feeling. And I remember going to Florence High School once to speak to an AVID class. And one of my students that I mentored was in that class and was having issues at home. And the teacher reached out to me and said, "Hey, could you come speak to the class and talk to Raul?" And I said, "Yes, of course." And instead of staying for one class, I ended up staying for 4 consecutive classes during the day. And then I told the teacher, "Hey, I'm really sorry. I have to leave because I have to work at 3:00. But like, I enjoyed it. It was great. And I love being in that position and answering questions and being available. So like, that's something I've always loved doing. I'll never change. We'll be right back. We'll wrap up the show. This is Fox Sports Sacramento.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Listen up, guys. Are you experiencing any of the following? Fatigue, less drive, poor performance? If so, you may be one of the nearly 30 million men in the U.S. today dealing with ED. But did you know you don't have to pay hundreds for a prescription anymore? And you don't have to deal with the hassle of seeing the doctor or the embarrassment of going to the pharmacy for a certain pill. Now, with one free call, you can find out how Herbal Virility Max can help you feel like a man again. For over a decade, Herbal Virility Max has helped guys just like you put a smile back on their face with improved performance and drive. Call today and ask about our buy one, get one free offer.
800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. 800-690-8445. That's 800-690-8445.
Investors, keep listening to learn how to get your free gold report. A currency crisis is upon us. The U.S. dollar has been the world's reserve currency for over 50 years, but that is changing. It's time to protect your retirement. Decades of reckless borrowing and spending have critically weakened the dollar. The U.S. has become the world's biggest debtor with over $35 trillion in debt. Plus, the dollar's become weaponized. Countries are dumping it. Investors who wait until it's too late could lose big. There is one safe haven: gold. Diversify your portfolio with a physical asset they can't take away. Call the Reagan Gold Group right now and ask for your free gold guide. Here's our number:
800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. 800-941-4184. That's 800-941-4184.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Great stuff with Sean Salisbury. Great stuff with the input via the text line at 916-779-0929. Good start for the Knicks, leading the Hawks 30-20. The Celtics lead the Sixers 66-62. Trailblazers and Spurs a little bit later. The hockey scoreboard. Buffalo leads Boston 1-0. 14 minutes left in period number 2. 90 seconds left in the first. Minnesota and Dallas tied at 1. That series tied at 2 apiece. Anaheim trying to stave off elimination later. Edmonton trying to prevent being eliminated. They are at home against Anaheim. Not a good game for the Giants in Philadelphia as they are down 5-0 in that ball game. Late stages of that game. It is the bottom of the 8th in Philly, and the Giants have yet to score. They only have 2 hits. Wow. 2 hits. 2 hits. Rafael Devers, 0 of 3. Batting .211. $31 million average salary annually. Boy, he's been awful. Just terrible. Terrible. A's tonight at home against Kansas City. If you're on your way to the game, enjoy. Have yourself a great time. The first place A's with a homestand playing really well. First place in the AL West. So that gets you caught up on the scoreboard. Again, the Knicks have come out and really played well in this first quarter, Ryan, on top 33-22 on the Hawks.
Yeah, they look nice and crisp, but the Hawks, young team, athletic. They've come back before once in Madison Square Garden, so you got to keep it on them if you're the Knicks.
Good game in Boston, 66-65. The Celts lead halfway through the third. I'll be on in about an hour and 15 minutes from now on YouTube and X. I'll have my Open Forum Tuesday. Show tomorrow at 3 o'clock, Olden Polonese at 4. No show Thursday and Friday. We are off Thursday and Friday. So keep that in mind. We'll do the last show of the week tomorrow, and then we'll be back with you on Monday. And we turn the calendar to May. You know what the first Saturday in May is, right, Rhino?
The Kentucky Derby.
Yes. Can you name a horse yet in the Derby?
Oh, I heard one because it's catchy and it's only like one word. Sorry, text message.
Catchy?
Did that come across the air?
Yes.
My text
yes, it
message?
did, but we couldn't hear it. I could hear it, but I couldn't hear what was being
sorry.
said.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't remember the name of the horse, but there is a catchy name for a horse.
Make the Quick?
No, but that
Not
would be
Make the
good
Quick?
too. No, we need our guy to call in to break down the Derby.
Well, next week. Not
Next
this
week.
week. Next week.
Okay, well we're using the horn right now. We're calling out. We need
It's
you
not-
next week.
So you was a catchy name, but you can't remember it.
I'm going to get it for you right now.
Okay. Absolutely. Is that who you're going to, that's who you're going to root for without even knowing any of the other horses in the race?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
It's just, it was something that, the Puma. That's what it is.
The Puma. Okay.
How about that?
Who do you think what do you think the discussion goes into naming a horse?
A lot, actually. I had that conversation with somebody that we both know that was part of horse ownership. It's incredible. There's so much context behind it because there's so many different lines that they've worked with, and it's a lot. So here's some of the names.
Okay.
For this year. Albus, okay, right now 30-1. So Happy, 15-1 right now. Chief Wallaby, 8-1. Further Ado, I like that one. Further Ado, 6-1. Commandment, not bad, 6-1. The Puma, 10-1.
I like So Happy. I'm getting on So Happy. 15-1.
So Happy, 15-1. In the Renegade, 4-1.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of like Further Ado. Further Ado.
What's the odds on Further Ado?
6-1.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all. Good names this year. Catchy names this year. Well done.
I'm just telling you, if I ever get a horse, it's going to be named Mick the Quick.
Mick the Quick. Now, I would like to see you somehow to work in Nucci and Ruggles to that personally.
Yeah.
You would need 2 horses, Nucci and Ruggles.
Yes, correct. You couldn't just name one horse, Nucci and Ruggles? Be like a law firm, Nucci and Ruggles.
It sounds like a CD law firm, for sure.
Nucci and Ruggles. Why not? By the way, the Athletics, the only team in the American League West over 500. How about that?
Hey, I have them winning in the division. Or did I have them winning the wild card?
You had them wild card. You didn't have them winning the division. We had Seattle both winning the division.
That's
and
right.
They're struggling at 14 and 16, but they're only 2 back. And they're too good. They'll get it going. But the A's at 15 and 13. Now, here's the A's. They've been very good on the road and so-so at home. They're only 500 at home. And they've had a very lopsided schedule. They've played 18 on the road and 10 at home.
I mean, they probably have an advantage at knowing that park. Every team does that's a home team in their park. There's little ins and outs. But imagine coming off the road in these big MLB ballparks.
Yeah.
And then you come home to that.
I know.
That's got to do you think that just mentally plays into it? Like, not even cognitively. It's just something in the background where it's like, we're playing.
Hard for me to say. Hard for me to say. I don't know. What I do know is after a dreadful start, 1-5, you take away that first week at Toronto and at Texas, they've been outstanding. Outstanding.
Good and late.
14-8.
Do you have their record in extra inning games?
I do not.
I'll have to look that up.
But what I do know is again, after that bad start, they went to New York. They won 2 or 3. They swept the Mets. And since then, since that bad start, they've been really, really good. And Rooker, is coming back after missing 14 games.
Excellent point.
Is back after missing 14 games. I mean, they have a nice lineup. They have a team that should, again, talk about should. I shouldn't say that with the A's because last year it was the same thing at home. But I'm looking at their schedule right now, and right now taking on a team that's only 11 and 17 in the Kansas City Royals. Let's go.
Yeah, these are the series you have to take advantage of that 100% if you're going to make that wild card. By the way, NBC just showed the commish, Adam Silver, attending the New York Knicks game tonight.
And why would I care about that?
I don't know. Maybe he's celebrating the new proposed, allegedly, draft lottery procedures.
Be a 5-minute ride from the offices on 5th Avenue.
I've been there.
To Madison Square Garden. You've been to the NBA League offices?
I have. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. Pretty cool. Right there.
Have you been to the NBA store in Manhattan?
Yes, I have.
Okay, that's a very cool store.
It's on the same street, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a very cool store. Big.
Overpriced.
Of course. It's New York City. It's Manhattan. 5th Avenue. You think you're going to find anything cheap on 5th Avenue in New York City?
No, absolutely not.
Of course it's overpriced.
How overpriced was Manhattan to you growing up in Long Island?
I had no concept of price growing up on Long Island. I had no concept of economics or what anything was. My dad was a very frugal spender and always bought things on sale, never bought nice clothes, nice cars. He spent every penny on his family. So I didn't really have a concept. We never sat close to the court or close to the ice or close to the field. Like I grew up with a very basic foundation from a money perspective where that didn't really matter. So as far as the price of New York and what was expensive and whatnot, I never thought that never once entered my mind.
Oh, okay.
Growing up until I became older. And then you realize, wow, New York City. And we didn't grow up in the city. We were out in Long Island, but still you then realize, wow, New York City is one of the most expensive places you can be.
Yeah. See, I grew up, my mom, very, very frugal to the point showing me how to read price tags in the grocery store, like price per ounce, So I grew up the opposite in a sense of being in the loop when it came to that. Like, whoa, that'd be expensive for a bag of chips.
I never, again, growing up, had a sense of anything economically, or it was not even in my thought process what was expensive, what was not expensive.
You're perfect person to have the perspective on this, but I was having this conversation with somebody else, and it's like, where would be the best place to take your child seat-wise to a sporting event? I think it's the last row. Right?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because they have an appreciation from the last seat in the building. If you start them out in the front row, they're going to expect the front row. They're getting the best.
I could only tell you what I experienced growing up. We were always we weren't in the last row, but we were always away from the playing surface. And it never entered my mind.
Exactly.
Why were we not close to the field or the court or the ice? It never once entered my mind. Not once.
Exactly.
Never.
Bingo.
And didn't even think about it.
You were in the building.
Absolutely.
Or
and the
in the stadium.
anticipation and the excitement of going to a game was all I felt and cared about. I never once sat down in my seat and go, gee, why are we sitting with such bad seats? It never, ever entered my mind.
So
we were in the bleachers at Yankee Stadium for the New York Giants games in the corner of the end zone. When the ball was on the other side of the field, inside the 30, and this was before jumbotrons and scoreboards, you couldn't really see. And my dad would always bring binoculars to the game and let me and my brother use it sometimes. But my point is, it never, ever entered my mind.
So we're up against it. But when you guys went to games with your dad and your brother, were you guys talking a lot, or were you the quiet type where it's just like you're focused?
No, we weren't talking a lot.
Yeah.
We were just watching the games. Yeah. I mean, my dad during timeouts and stuff, but no, not a lot.
Yeah.
My dad was always talking with people around us, the season ticket holders and things of that nature, but not, my dad didn't really enjoy talking about during the game. He wanted to watch the game and he wanted to concentrate on what he was watching.
There you go.
BJ wants to know, cool. All right. An open forum in the air with Hawaiian Airlines. See, that's dedication. I love that, man. BJ is going to be watching my open forum show on Hawaiian Airlines in the air. That's beautiful.
Good job,
love
BJ.
It. Good job.
Only thing better would be first class.
You on a 767, BJ? What type of aircraft you on? 7.5, 7.6? What are you on? Hit me up. Let me know. I'll be on in an hour on YouTube and X. We'll replay the first hour of the show coming up next. Love doing this show. Tomorrow, we'll do it again at 3 o'clock. My thanks to Sean Salisbury. What a fun segment that was earlier this hour. For Rhino in Sacktown, I'm Grant Napear. Thanks so much for listening to the Grant Napear Show on Fox Sports Sacramento. Talk to you over on YouTube and X in a minute. Bye-bye now.